It's round 20 from Cardinia Park, and after 6 straight losses, Geelong finally had a win last week. But it seems like too little too late. For their part, the Adelaide Crows, with 11 wins, still have a chance of defending their crown. This time last year, they'd won 12 games, but they did lose in round 20 before marching on to a premiership. Hi everyone, welcome along to Cardinia Park for more action from round 20 in the AFL competition today. It's Geelong and the Adelaide Crows. And bear in mind the Crows have not won at Cardinia Park. And of course the Cats coming off what was a very good win. They won by a point against the Western Bulldogs last round at Optus Oval. Justin Woodward had 4 goals, and veterans like Hocking, Riccardi and Scholl were in top form. And as you can imagine, it was a hectic finish. The Bulldogs, with their chances in the dying seconds of the game, an emotional one for the Cats. Half chances going missing. And elation. After a run of outs, finally, a victory. And that toothy grin from Gary Ayres tells the story. They have been under pressure, and their final home game this afternoon gives them the chance for further atonement. Geelong by a point over the Western Bulldogs, who were on top of the table. Meanwhile, the Crows were winning showdown number 4 and winning praise too from John Cale.
I think Victorians underestimate how good the Crows are. They have 15 or 16 players played in the grand final. They have players that have played 5 or 6 years, and you're talking Wrens and McLeods and Rashudos and Bickleys and Jarmans and Harts and Smarts. You know, you can go on and on. They have a very talented team, and they are hard at the ball. I think Malcolm Blight's got them playing a reasonably straightforward game, and their tackling is very, very good.
So after the break, Robbo and Graham Corns to take a look at these two sides for round 20, Geelong and Adelaide.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year, McDonald's Double Quarter Pounder with cheese, and Mitsubishi Motors, the award-winning Magna.
Well, a pretty good day for football here at Cardinia Park. 11th, Geelong versus Adelaide in 5th position. It is a tight setup towards the end of the football season. We did see Carl Steinford. His name was in lights because he kicked that winning point that meant that Geelong got over the top of the Western Bulldogs.
It was a gutsy win, Robbo, and if you can beat the top team, there's no doubt you've got some ability to play. Now, we'll look at the lineups. There's no doubt about it. This is an inexperienced Geelong team compared to what we've seen, particularly in defence. Their forward line options really rest with Spinks and young Ronnie Burns. If he lines up in the forward lines, you expect him to do so. They still have great midfield presence though with Riccardi and Hockey.
They've got a couple of good young fellas there. Clint Bizzle has been good over the last few weeks. And Hamish Simpson, I think he's got some promise, and he's going to be a good player. Stephen King at that centre bounces at a big battle with him against Sean Wren.
My word, Rennie's been in good form, and Justin Wood, of course, last week with 4 goals. Now, Tony Modra we see there, interesting in Adelaide this week. His contract negotiations have broken down, faltered. There's a lot of people who feel because they won a grand final with him that the club can really stand on its digs. I think probably he's still a much required player. They have got good goal-scoring options, there's no doubt, but you'll see Sampson, Jamison and Troy Bond, who have kicked goals this year, not in today's lineup.
Great to see Vardy back and doing well. I mean, he was a good player last year, wasn't he?
Particularly last week. Yep. But the Adelaide lineup, Robbo, you'd have to say getting something like its best. But David Pittman isn't there. And they lost one of their defenders last week, of course. Shane Allen comes in to replace that. Rod Jamison's still running around for Glenelg in the SANFL. But in the midfield and across half forward, and particularly in defence, they're very, very good. They've got the best percentage in the competition. So they're kicking goals well, and they're stopping the opposition from doing so as well.
Classy little player, that Andrew McLeod too. I think we've got to mention him. He's been good since he's come back.
He's absolutely great, Robbo.
So Aussie rules here at Cardinia Park. Geelong versus Adelaide. We'll be back after this short break.
easy, guys. Not a race.
Yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I'd like that racing. I'd put my kids in the car.
40 kilometres a week?
Yeah, let's just go really slow. Why do I run?
Here's a couple who bought a renovator's delight. While they're proud of the breakthrough they made,
Put in some French doors and then pave the courtyard.
not everybody shares their vision. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
Let's start with Accent. It's good value, it's our own brand, great range of colours.
From the store that understands it's not just the low price, it's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
You can see it, can't you, darling?
Yeah, it'll come.
Curtains of hard eyes. $25.99. Mount Rufus Port. $6.99.
Rosemount Diamond Range, $11.99. Plus a chance to win a diamond.
Carton Eagle Blue, $19.99. Bundy. Beautiful bottles of Bundy, $22.99 at the Flagstaff.
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local sip and save.
From the pen of Linda LaPlante comes a blockbuster mini-series event.
I've taken everything.
They married into the world of organized crime.
And all this could be yours.
Their family was a blessing.
This is a day we're all going to remember forever.
Their business was a curse. And in one deadly night...
You should have never taken out those kids.
5 women will lose everything they hold dear.
I want the killers of my babies as badly as you want the killers of your sons.
Now, power has never looked better, and revenge has never tasted sweeter.
We must meet.
From the producer of The Last Dog...
No one is ever going to frighten us again!
...comes a stunning network premiere.
Loaded.
Vanessa Redgrave, Nastasia Kinski, Jennifer Tilly, and Dennis Farina.
We're asking you to be head of the family.
Panasonic presents Linda LaPlante's Bella Mafia, Sunday 8:30 on Channel 7.
As always, a very good crowd here at Cardinia Park. Bit of cloud around, quite a stiff breeze blowing down towards the left-hand end, but not too many spare chairs or empty places. And amongst the throng is Neil Curley. Good afternoon, Curls.
Hi, Dennis. How are we? Well, as we just saw, Geelong have won the toss, and naturally they've taken the breeze. And I think it's always a big advantage when there is a breeze available to win the toss and have use of it, because as a coach, you then don't have to make too many decisions. You just go with the breeze and see what unfolds during the course of the quarter. But of course, if the Adelaide Crows do outscore them into the breeze, well then that makes it difficult for airs. I think on today, where the conditions are so good for Cardinia Park at this time of the year, we're going to see a very quick open game. And for the Crows to win, I think Wren has to control the ruck, and of course have to have a half-forward line which fired like it did last week. But Geelong would have a bit of a lift after last week, that good victory against the Western Bulldogs. And I'm predicting a very, very tough opening, but maybe the Crows just gradually drawing away in the second half.
As we said at the outset, the Crows have never won at this ground. 6 tries, they're 0-6. Back in round 5, they did beat Geelong, but that was at Football Park. Low-scoring, tough affair. The margin there, 26 points. At that stage, that was the Crows' second victory of the season.
And Dennis, significantly today, Tony Modra walking down towards the goal scorer. He started the last 4 games on the bench. It looks like today he's starting at full forward. And big Sean Wren is going to the forward pocket alongside him, which means young Ben Marsh will take the centre bounce. So Geelong are going to be very, very stretched in terms of the height in their defence.
Sanderson goes back on Modra. There's King. Brenton Sanderson, who played some footy, good footy too, in the early days with the Crows, moved on to Collingwood, and now very much a regular in this Cats defence that has been working overtime this season. The umpires this afternoon, Goldspink, Ellis and McKenzie. Darren Goldspink with the footy. Set to go. Round 20 action from Cardinia Park. Adelaide running left to right, working into the breeze. Marsh goes up, beaten though, falls to Hart. Hart hooks it down towards half forward. Pitch is about 65 metres from goal. Robran slipped over. Sanderson immediately pushing up the ground from half-back, kicks down towards half-forward. McLeod at the back and a fist on the ball. That'll be a great duel, Burns and McLeod. And holding the ball's the call. I mean, holding the jumper. What did I say, Robbo? Stop me when you hear that. There's Burns at left half-forward.
Still early, Dennis. And Burns' kick in towards the forward pocket here. A good mark taken by Darren Jarman. Now, where does he play, Graham?
It looks like he's loose in defence at this stage.
Well, he's a good kick of the football. He gets this 40 metres plus, out close to the wing. Gathered there by Spinks. Sanderson going absolutely nowhere. Well done here by Matthew Robran. Finds some space for himself and then kicks towards half-forward, but a good mark taken back there for Geelong by Bizzle.
He's a good player, this Bizzle. He's on Peter Vardy today. It's going to be a very interesting tussle. Peter Vardy, 7 goals last week.
Oh, bad error there. Chipping in as Edwards. And he's marked. Short pass is all right. And that's taken by Goodwin. Goodwin is nearly up to centre half forward. He's probably at least a kick and a half going into a healthy breeze. You'd have to respect it because the flags are above the Hickey stand, certainly blowing quite fiercely. The kick by Goodwin towards full forward. It's punched away. So the Geelong defence working well. Sanderson's quick kick goes out towards half-back. And it's knocked over in the finish by Goodwin. And it'll be thrown in at right half-forward.
You see the LA bench, that's Trent Ormond-Allen, Tim Cook, Shane Allen comes back in, and the other player there would be James Tyson, who you can't see.
So still no score in the game. It's only the early stages of the first term.
Eccles gets the hand pass away. Connell, who's been in good recent form, hooks it inside the 50, surrounded by Cats the footy. King falls on top of it. Now he's got a problem. Locked in there and a bounce.
Gary Hocking at this stage, boys, in the forward pocket, and Malcolm Blight obviously wanted Mark Prosciutto to run with him. Mark Prosciutto now is playing effectively a back pocket role.
Got a factor in the wind chill there. It's pretty cold. Bounce just outside the 50. King hits for the boundary line and a throw in.
Dennis, interchange for Geelong are Roberts, McKinnon, Mensch and Corrigan.
Thanks, girls. So it's thrown in from behind Milburn, eventually knocked it forward. Here's James, hard against the boundary line. Intelligent kick under the circumstances. Modra hand passes over the shoulder. Mansfield, well, he had it for a while, gets it across to Simpson. Simpson back towards half-back, reaching over the top was Eccles. Trying to knock the ball. Goldwood down there was his saint, eventually falling on top of it, Wood. Tried to hand pass at Goldwood. Back he comes again. In goes Riley. Riley won the ball, aided by the Shepherd from Wood. Gets it across to support. Scholl towards half-forward. Relay brief kick.
Played that all right, Brad Scholl, right?
Yes, he's a very good player. Most impressed with him. Just enticed Nigel Smart to do that.
So the kick by Derek Hall to right onto the goal line. It may not have been touched, actually, but it did miss and went through for one behind. So I'll credit that to Derek Hall.
Okay.
Geelong a point.
Derek Hall looks like he's starting at centre half forward, Robbo, opposed to Peter Caven.
Well, he's been a goal kicker over the years, Derek Hall, for Geelong, and they need goals from players like Hall and Burns.
Ben Hart's run over the line on the kick-off, and isn't that a cardinal sin? Ben's not happening.
Graham, that happened last week with the Crows. That's two in 2 weeks.
Well, you've got to be smart enough to kick it off the front of the square, not the side of the square, because the umpire can't possibly line up on the front of the square.
So the bounce of the ball right in front of the square, favouring Geelong. Spinks gets it down. Gary Hocking, snapshot well smothered off the boot there. The Adelaide defender, it might have been Mark Stevens, now Ben Hart to recover his position, gets it to Marsh. An athletic-looking young man, he bounced and the ball went behind him. A bit unfortunate there, and eventually forced over for a boundary throw-in between wing and right half-forward, favouring Geelong.
You said athletic he is. The ball didn't come back to him, and the Geelong player claimed him. Perhaps it was holding the ball. David Mensch, Marty McKinnon there, Luke Roberts and young Corrigan on the Geelong bench.
So Stephen King trying to get the ball clear. The Adelaide player might be Brett James underneath all that.
Yes, a player who is always in and under.
So the umpire to bounce the ball. They are the umpires for today's game. Martin Ellis, Derek Humphrey-Smith and Darren Goldspink. Trying to get out of there was Riccardi. Left the football behind in the finish. So another bounce. So 2 or 3 areas of concern here for the players. They just can't break away from this right half forward, right centre wing area.
And I don't think Malcolm Blight would be too concerned about that whilst Geelong has the breeze.
Marsh pumps it wide. Kilpatrick overran the ball. In goes Hocking. Fell over. Great desperation by Goodwin, putting the body in. And the ball up right on the wing now.
Dennis, I think we'll see a lot of this congested area with this narrow ground. There'll be a lot of bounce downs, I believe.
And that breeze very strong right to left. The Cats running on it. They lead by a point. The early going. Just over 15 minutes till quarter time. King reaches up. Milburn helps the ball on its way. Socket forward down towards half forward by Sanderson. It runs across the line in front of Burns. So boundary throw in. Burns, 98 kicks this season for 31 goals. Not a bad strike rate. Included 50 last season. There's the throw in. Marsh in front. Worked under the ball by King. Steinford. Hocking. Hand passes inside the 50. Hocking comes again. Claimed by Smart. The hand pass goes up in the air. Steinford well tackled. It was jarred out of there. Working his way through was Wood. Spills back towards Milburn. He's taken on by McLeod. Emerging through the pack there was Caven. His kick ricochets off Hart and goes across the boundary line. Hard work in there from Gary Hocking.
Well, he's the heart and soul of this team. He sets a tremendous example for his players. There's no doubt that the Geelong players are at the ball hard. Crows matching them in intensity.
So Spinks and Stevens to go for the ruck contest. Rashudo's caught from behind. By gee, was lucky he wasn't penalised. Ben Hart kicks Adelaide out towards the centre wing. And it trundles over for a throw-in.
I think last year he would have been, Robbo, but I guess the umpire figured he is in the act of kicking. In fact, he nearly does kick the ball, so I think probably a fairly sensible decision in the end.
Snell was the Geelong player who did the tackle on Mark Rashudo.
They're desperate.
So good signs, good body language by both teams here. Milburn. Chance again for Geelong to get clear. Raleigh goes back to Snell. Snell over the top. Chance again. James Raleigh back onto the right and then thumps it. But out goes McLeod. Marks safely on his chest and then kicks it out wide. Opportunity here for Connell. Little hand pass goes back. Stevens. Ben Hart. Back to Connell. Kick smothered off the boot by Kilpatrick. Forces a throw-in.
Yes, and the Geelong crowd just a little bit testy with the overuse of the ball, aren't they? They've seen it in recent weeks. The short handballs, they're looking for the long kick. But unfortunately, the long kick went straight to Andrew McLeod, who was picking up Ronnie Burns.
Marsh and King again fell at their feet. First ball picked up by Riccardi, straight into Hocking. Hocking goes after it. Little toe poke through the congestion by Eccles. In the opposite direction there was Hall. Bumped forward by Steinford. It bounces out of bounds.
Dennis, the Crows wouldn't be too disappointed with this congested start. They'd like this.
No, it's a good start for them, isn't it? Just chewing up the clock. Crows bench.
Yes, Dr. Brian Sando is the gentleman with glasses, the Olympic doctor, but Shane Allen, Trent Orman-Allen and Tim Cook.
James Tyson there as well. He's very shy. Gets behind the doctor. Hasn't emerged yet. McLeod back towards the wing. Hall, juggled mark. Wants to go. Play on's the call. Derek Hall forward at the wing then. A centering kick across towards the true centre-half forward position. Michael Mansfield is marked 50 metres out directly in front. Now, he's not the strongest kick in this team, but with this breeze, if he starts it just a tad right, this shouldn't be beyond him.
I don't think, Dennis, you'll want for the confidence to kick it, but he's run strongly from the half-back line. He's playing centre-half back on Matthew Robin, who's centre-half forward for the Crows. So good running.
With the kick. Gives the breeze every chance. And it's done the job.
When it comes to AFL, 7 has the news covered. With Abernathy, Ditmar and Maxi. With AFL stars Modra, Rashuto, Wangani, Ruse, Hurd, Dunstall and Tim Watson reporting from Melbourne. Exclusive to 7.
On Today Tonight, our rat bag drivers.
That's bad manners.
Stealing parking spots, throwing punches, even letting tyres down to get even. Plus, Adelaide sports stars going the full Monty for charity Monday.
So back here at Kardinia Park, Geelong have kicked the first goal. It's taken them a little while in the first quarter. We feel, well, Neil Curley, what do you think the breeze is worth, Curls?
Oh, I think it's worth 2 or 3 shots for goal, and of course you've got to kick them. If you miss them with the points, that's no good, but a couple of goals.
And Adelaide have got the ball to half forward. Edwards kick to the goal face. Gathered there by Wood, quickly out wide. It may bounce, end on end, over in front there of Eccles for a boundary throw in. Right in front of the big scoreboard here at Kardinia Park. We've got a fairly new scoreboard, healthy down the other end. Healthy when I compare it to what the old one used to look like. And of course we've got a big screen at the back of the goals to which Geelong are attacking in this term. Riccardi, very well done, out to Milburn. Milburn down the line. Burns gets rid of McLeod, races back, but Nigel Smart is there as well. And a confrontation leads to Nigel Smart spilling over the boundary line into the fence. And that boundary umpire out there will throw it in.
Nigel Smart. He's not too much faces him, but you don't want to stir him up too much, though.
Well, he looks as though he's going to contest this boundary throw-in with Carl Steinfort. Steinfort got first hand to it. In goes Snell. Ben Hart keeps his feet. Still there, Ben Hart. And a good contest provided. The ball spilled out, but the umpire's blown his whistle.
It's going to be interesting to see. Oh, I see. Sean Wren now actually come back onto the ball, so it's going to be interesting to see just how long Malcolm Blight persisted with him in the forward pocket against the breeze.
So a chance here for Geelong. They're still deep in their forward area. Rashuto's kick out is towards the half-back line, and it's gone over for a throw-in at about right half forward for the Cats, about 70 metres around from their goal. So kicking with the aid of a fairly healthy breeze, as we've already mentioned. Geelong have kicked 1-1, Adelaide yet to score. Smart from behind, knocked over the top. Snell a chance to run onto the football. In underneath there, Ben Hart working very hard for Adelaide. Not able to break away. He's had 5 possessions, Ben Hart, already in this game. He's perhaps the leading possession gatherer on the field.
Hasn't had much to do with class or skill today, Robbo, but certainly a lot to do with endeavour and desperation. This is a very tight game so far.
So a bounce inside the 50. Awkward 1-2. Smart clean possession. Dragged down. Got boots of ball. Hart beats the hand pass away. This is Rashuto. Inside his own defensive 50. Kicks it up towards the wing. Robrin did well. Plays on immediately. Costa on the overlap. Kicking down towards half forward and Vardy. Vardy who broke his collarbone against the Cats in last year's second semi. Coming off 7 goals. Long penetrating kick. Modra. Well, is that a free kick? I think so. Out of the Cats. Modra mistiming his approach there.
Well, he had to go for Dennis. I think Malcolm Blight would have encouraged him, but his timing was not good.
Hocking comes away. Bounds out of the back pocket, kicking it up towards the wing. Showing great courage was Bizzle. Couldn't complete the mark. This is Vardy once more. 75 metres out. Long down towards the pocket. Angus Simpson stood his ground, took the mark.
And Sean Wren still is at full forward. I made the comment he'd gone onto the ball, but he's still at full forward.
Colbert comes away from full back, looping hand pass. Scholl pushing up, right on the defensive 50, kicks it towards the outer side wing. Mansfield dropped the mark in front, spins out of one tackle, not the second, and that's holding the ball.
Another pretty good decision there. Mansfield had a couple of chances maybe to get rid of the ball, and Matthew Robrin has locked him up between wing and left half forward. Short kick finds Rashuto. Just took a few minutes to settle, but he's had 4 possessions now. Mark Rashuto.
See now the Adelaide defence has all run up. Even though they're going into the breeze, they've all sprinted forward.
And that kick has been marked by Bizzle. Bizzle about 40 metres out from the goal, at which he is defending.
He's very impressive, isn't he? Very impressive young man. Missed most of last year with illness. Played 4 games in 1996, but has been in great form lately.
And good to see. The future is with the younger brigade, I'm sure. Snell dragged down. The ball kicked out or knocked out deliberately. It's against Caven.
That's a brave decision.
Yes, you pluck them from nowhere, don't you?
Not here.
And good punch by McLeod.
Andrew McLeod playing half-back today. Started at half-forward last week, kicked 3 goals in the first half. Peter Caven, well, I think his intention was to go for the boundary, boys.
So the boundary throw in. Steinford again doing the ruck work. Beaten for it on this occasion by Nigel Smart. Good punch from behind that was. Milburn the tackle. Locks up Goodwin. And the umpire will call for a bounce right on centre wing on the outer side here at Cardinia Park.
Yes, and Simon Goodwin is an exciting young player. He's running in the midfield on Kilpatrick.
Sun shining brightly, and with a bit of luck, we could have a rain-free day. Rain was predicted. A little bit of rain fell this morning in Melbourne, but rain has been predicted over the weekend, but perhaps the next hour and a half, we'll just get away with it. Raleigh at the back, knocked forward by Eccles. Again, well, the tactics falling right into the hands here of Adelaide. They're going against the breeze. They've restricted Geelong so far to just 1 goal won. They haven't scored themselves. 8.5 minutes left.
Thrown in out there, Wren and King. Clean possession to Wren. Throws it on the boot down towards half-forward, playing in front, shoulder mark. Great start this by the Crows. Just over 8 minutes till quarter time. They need to retain their concentration. Sometimes you start patting yourself on the back too early. Great mark taken there by Burns. Launching himself over the top of Smart. Bonnie Burns. Spring heel jack. He kicks inside the 50. Hart knocks it down in front. Free kick was going to Hart.
Yes, Adelaide have been very, very good in defence. They've got Darren Jarman playing loose.
Interference in that pack as he goes wide and finds Caven. Caven at left half back. It'll take plenty of time. Bree still whipping down this ground. He kicks it around the outer side towards the wing. Wren appeared to be bumped before the ball was in 5 metres. And out she goes.
Just a question for Graham. I mean, the coach in Malcolm Blight's case is happy that the boys take their time. What about Ronnie Burns out there? Wouldn't you get him to kick it down there quickly when you're going with the breeze?
Particularly with your left footer, you can just come back into the centre and it's going to lob between full forward and centre half forward. He just didn't take too long.
I was watching the replay on the new screen. Riccardi gets it out. McLeod chips it across. This is Eccles. He's forward of half back, kicks it up towards the wing, and the mark is taken by Edwards, who's been lively to start. Tyson Edwards on the outer side, drops it in short. And Rasciuto pushing up the ground, having a wonderful season. Mark Rasciuto. The side trailing by 7 points. Kicks it long towards the pocket. Uncontested. Robran. They've moved this one well around the outer side. Robran from about 55 metres out then. Long down towards full forward. Modra in best position. Always his. Hamish Simpson edged under the ball, and from there on, the contract was a very tough one.
Well, Dennis, it was set up by a magnificent kick by Matthew Robran. He just went and went and went and into the breeze. Perhaps there's some protection from the grandstand, but Modra beautifully positioned. I think he's missed though.
Well, umpire's gone a long way. Behind. Wow, that's disappointing.
He doesn't need that. He needs as much confidence as he possibly can get. He's done well to take the mark, get a touch early. But from that distance, a full forward of his class has to be able to kick the goal.
Max Stevens is probably on the lounge room floor about now. Touch of the vapours.
Brendan Sanderson to kick in for Geelong. Gets well outside his defensive 50. Good mark taken by Colbert. Colbert the handball into the middle of the ground. Just a little labouring there was Wood. That tackle on Costa looked a little suspect. Connell dispossessed. Gathered by Riccardi to Raleigh. Quickly Raleigh on. Now that could be a free kick to Hall.
Yes, he was in front of Peter Caven. Both players went to ground, but just the advantage of having front position, he did win the free kick.
So Derek Hall going for the long one. Right to the square. Spills to the back. There's a free kick. The umpire might have seen a push out against Geelong. Might be going to big Sean Wren. He was looking maybe for the kick to go down the field, was he?
Yeah, so just trying to pick up, was it King or Spinks who were just a bit awkward in their attempt to go at the ball there.
Graham getting back that one of Modra's, I thought he was very harshly pushed around by the umpire. I thought he took the mark much closer to the centre of the goal and he was put on the angle.
They've been doing that badly actually over the last few weeks too, Curls.
Sean Wren's kick bounces just inside the boundary line and we'll have a throw in left half forward for Geelong, about 75 to 80 metres around from their goal.
And it does raise the question whether you take the mark in the goal square, whether you should actually be able to go back. You've probably done well enough if you've marked it in the goal square to be able to have that advantage.
Absolutely.
The contest now here between Nigel Smart. He's going to get a kick too, and he does it pretty well. Throws it onto his right boot, but getting back is Mansfield.
Plays on immediately, Colbert. Short one, Sanderson. The Cats need to get a hurry up here. Sanderson blazes away. Back goes Young. Uncontested.
Well, Sanderson is his man, Dennis, and he's just kicked it straight down his throat.
McLeod takes the hand pass across the goal face. James bobs up, goes in short. Goodwin has it. He's forward of half back. James cruises past. That's ignored. He kicks it long down towards half forward. Bizzle, a big leap off the fingertips. Bizzle, the best recovery at close quarters to Hall. Taken on by Vardy, taken across the line. And there's a nasty gash above the left ear there of Derek Hall, and no doubt he'll be off the ground. He's coming from the farthest point at Cardinia Park.
It's a clash of heads, and gee, that's dangerous in today's football, and you can see the skull splits immediately. In the old days, of course, it was a badge of courage to be able to play on with the blood streaming down. Not so these days. And he'll have that treated immediately and come back looking like some sort of Red Indian, I would imagine, with the headpiece.
Graham, interesting call here with, I think Malcolm's gone slightly defensive with this breeze against him. McLeod, who's been very dangerous up forward in the last couple of weeks, playing back now. Would he leave him forward with the breeze in the second quarter?
He's courageous enough to try anything. I mean, how many coaches on a day like today, Curls, would go with the extra tall man in your forward pocket, which he's doing.
Very true.
Riccardi knocks it down. Taken away by James. The bounce went to the Crows' advantage. Rodwin waited a long time. Eventually hand passed inside the 50. Opportunity for Riccardi. Kicks it back towards the wing. Raleigh in front. Eccles almost a one-hander. James again having a good term. Spears the hand pass away. Goodwin back to James. James ran out of space. No. Made something out of nothing. Fishes it back across to Costa. Costa towards the middle. Dropped by Vardy. 60 metres out. Vardy to Rashudo. He fires from about 45. And that's a beautiful finish.
Mitsubishi Pajero, perfectly adapted to Australian conditions.
Well, scores are level here at Cardinia Park. Geelong 1-1, Adelaide 1-1. Michael Mansfield has kicked the goal for the Cats, and Mark Rashudo has kicked the goal for Adelaide. Wren takes it out of the middle of the air to James. Great hand pass, Rashudo. Good running support by Connell. Connell runs to half forward and then kicks, and he's found Marsh. A little too simple.
Well, it was, and they're playing to a definite plan. The big player, either Marsh or Wren, are starting in the goal square. Modra's leading, and as soon as he wasn't used as the option, Modra has just run to the side and left the space there for Marsh to run into. And he is a tall, promising young man.
Pretty confident too, by the way he attacks his football.
Not arrogant at all, though, Roy. He's a tremendous young man, but he's just confident to play the game.
He's shot for goal. He's done it nicely. He's kicked the Adelaide side's second goal.
Cartons of hard ice. $25.99. Mount Rufus Port. $6.99.
Rosemount Diamond Range. $11.99. Plus a chance to win a diamond.
Cat Beagle Blue. $19.99. Bundy. Beautiful bottles of Bundy. $22.99 at the Flagstaff.
If you like to sip and you want to save, You can't go past your local sip and save.
He is going to be a very, very good player.
Neil Curley singing the praises there of young Ben Marsh, who kicked that last goal. Vardy's off, Tyson's on, under the blood rule. It's good of Vardy. Certainly so far, Brett James has been very busy. 7 possessions. The season's high and the Crows high on the year. 37, including 21 hand passes against Melbourne in round 10. Riccardi, speaking of hand passes, an ill-directed one down towards half forward. Hacked on at the air by Smart, who tracks it out towards right half back. Throws it on the foot, it's bending towards the line. Right on the line. Bizzle has to reach over the top of Tyson and knock it out of bounds. So Adelaide taking all the points. They're on top by 6 points, working into a strong breeze. It's been a strong performance by them, and I'm sure they would be delighted. A chance now in the second quarter, if the weather holds, and I'm sure it will, to really establish what could be a match-winning lead. King has other ideas. Plucked it, moved it forward. Riccardi getting busy, sends it inside the 50. Spinks attempting the one-hander on his knees. Coming through in the opposite direction. The ball hand pass towards the line there by Stevens. He follows up.
No, it's a free kick.
Body work, but it's been penalised. And Riccardi, who put the ball inside the 50 initially.
Yes, Dennis, he called over the shoulder. We'll have a look at the replay, and, well, he said he was taken high, but it looked to be a good desperate effort from Mark Stevens.
Shouldn't have been a free kick.
You wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Peter Riccardi hard on the line. Breeze can help him if he starts it out to the top of the square. It's pushing it back, but about 2 metres too long. In fact, there's a free kick, I think, going to Adelaide down there. It'll be taken by Stevens, who injured his knee back in round 5 against Geelong, and put him back. He started promisingly on the forward line. Now in the role of a defender, and always the place to be with the ball dropping in short. Wren.
He did well, didn't he, the big fellow? And may have let himself down a little here because he's kicked it out on the full. Good piece of play back there where he'd taken the mark. But the ball now with Kilpatrick.
Then a good player too, Glenn Kilpatrick, since coming back from West Adelaide after he won the McGarry medal in Adelaide.
Kick towards Spinks, taken away by Hart, Connell, and then kicked wider still by Stevens. Now Scholl trying to get away from Edwards, succeeds in doing so. Kicks it in towards the middle of the ground, taken here by Riccardi. Now Peter Riccardi is a beautiful kicker of football. He doesn't put himself under pressure. He gets around onto his left and then in the finish. Just 1 out of 10 for that, Peter. Out of bounds on the full.
Yes, and he just runs himself into trouble, and Gary Ayres would be tearing his hair with frustration. He would not want his players working outside the corridor. They don't have to. You just got to drive straight at the goals and particularly turn inside. He just put himself under too much pressure by running that extra 4 or 5 metres.
Adelaide lead by a goal. We're close to quarter time. Just a minute and a half left in the first term. Punched away by King was good. Milburn not able to break away. McKinnon trying to get the ball away from the congestion there. Andrew McLeod, the last one to regain his footing. Geelong supporters would be looking for a goal here, close to the quarter-time siren. Up goes Wren, knocks it down for Rashuto. Milburn to Snell, good snapshot by Snell, knocked away by Stevens from Spinks, over for a boundary throw-in.
Yes, and
a bit of a tussle here, Graham, between Stephen King and it might have been Rashuto. He's lost his jumper, hasn't he? Tough customer, Mark Rashuto.
You wouldn't pick him. He's not only is he tough, he's done a little bit of martial art work. So even though Stephen King's a lot bigger, he got still back row.
Wren knocked it down. Costa taken across the line by Riccardi.
But I must say, sorry, Dennis, it's good to see the spirit of the Geelong players. They're not giving it easily. I mean, they have to play with some spirit.
Peter Riccardi, 9 possessions so far. Throwing in Wren, doing it pretty easy in there. Tackled immediately, dug it out. Rashuto to James, coming up to his 8th possession, tried to slap it out. Caven put an arm in. Smart couldn't control it. Goodwin's looping hand pass releases Costa. He's forward of half back. Kicks it down towards half forward. Mansfield under the ball. It runs on. Coming up to meet it was Hamish Simpson. Or was it Colbert? It was Colbert who got a boot to the ball. and it stayed just inside the field of play on the bounce. So boundary throwing. 12 seconds to go in the term. Geelong bench.
Yes, bench Roberts and Corrigan.
Bizzle ran into a dead end. Knocked on by Milburn. Against the flow down there and finding it pretty difficult was Hart. Comes to Snell. Taken by Jam, and there's the siren. Terrific turn by the Adelaide Crows. Into the breeze. Now, of course, they can't sit back and be content with that work. They've got to play just as hard with the breeze, and who knows, by half-time, they could have established a big lead. Geelong, less than impressive. They trail by 6 points. It's 2-1 to 1-1. For Adelaide, Marsh and Rashuto have got the goals. And for the Cats, their solitary goal kicker, Michael Mansfield.
The Mitsubishi Express has loading doors on both sides. The competition doesn't. The Mitsubishi Express, working man's best friend.
What would put you in front of your own home? A home loan rate of 5.99%.
Then sets it up for Kelly. The bounce, it's favourable for the skipper. And pass over the top. Oh, not having to change striders, Banks. And he slots it through. Magnificent goal to the Swans. Kicked by Banks. He booted three.
With an ANZ Visa footy card, you can score points with your favourite team.
Sensational play by the Swans. Set up by their captain, Paul.
Check this Lacornu package offer. Single bed, inner spring, 3-piece sheet set, quilt cover set and a pillow, 9-piece bed package just $3.49.
You'll love it at Lacornu.
To start your own business, you could risk running by yourself into an uncertain future, or start scoring sooner by using Amway's dynamic business plan, which has successfully operated worldwide for over 38 years. Amway, because opportunity has...
He vanished on a walk through the bush.
It's not like Andrew to go that far like by himself.
They found his body floating in a watery grave.
There was no evidence he was camping in the area.
Who killed Andrew Bright and why?
It's very hard to try and explain to his little brother and sister.
Does this last letter to his mother hold the key?
We are exploring a number of different theories.
You can help solve the riddle to a young man's death.
You still don't know how he actually died.
Australia's Most Wanted, Monday 7:30 on 7.
It's quarter time here at Kardinia Park, and the margin is 6 points. 2-1 to 1-1. Geelong got the first goal, Adelaide the next two. And two other games are being played this afternoon. Some stations are taking replays later, so if you don't wish to know the score, both those games, the Western Bulldogs in Sydney and Essendon and Collingwood, are coming up. And I have to say the Crows huddle broke up pretty early. Geelong just breaking up as we go down to Neil Cooley. I would imagine Malcolm's quite happy with that first term.
Certainly was, Dennis. Gary Ayres went straight to Kilpatrick at that quarter-time break, and I think he gave a strong message on to play a bit tighter on Rashuto. McLeod is staying back, so there's no change there. Vardy back on the ground after having his eyes stitched up. Malcolm Blight instructed his players they must play down the centre of the ground and looking for clean work coming out of the half-back line, going through the midfield to try and pinpoint their movement going into the forward area. Good quarter by the Crows, but they'll have to back it up this quarter because, as we saw then, the wind will not do it for them. They've got to make a strong commitment and handle the ball cleanly.
Yes, thanks, Curls. Just checking the possession winners so far. Rashido's had 8, likewise Hart. And James has had 7. And for Geelong, Riccardi 9, the best of them. Second best Colbert with 5, so he's a fair way off the pace. But a great start by the Crows, who had most of the ball. Ben Marsh is there. So too Stephen King. Start of the second term at Cardinia Park, and the Crows lead it by 6 points, 2-1 to 1-1. And now they get their chance with the breeze. Marsh takes a run. They fight a draw, the big fellows. King goes after it on the ground, though. Got boot to ball, only as far as Smart. Across the body. Nice catch in the circumstances there by Marsh. Had to stretch. It was more a catch than a mark. The hands there pretty early. Stopping the ball. Marsh kicking inside the 50. Sanderson goes up. There's a whistle, and the free kick is going to the Crows. Taken by Modra.
Yeah, he was interfered with in the contest. He was just held with... The replay will probably show it up. And you'll just see he's being held there by Simpson.
Graham, we have the interchange. Both injured players in the first quarter back on with the blood rule. So the interchange for Geelong at Roberts, McKinnon, Mensch and Corrigan. And, of course, we have the same for Allen, Trent Orman-Allen. And I'll give those two in a second.
Modra kicks a goal. His first.
Well, I always thought that you had to take your new car back to the dealer to get it serviced. But this friend of mine said that she gets hers serviced at UltraTune. They use all of the right parts and the price is fixed. Hey, they sound pretty good to me.
Well, Tony Modra missed a fairly simple shot at goal in the first quarter, but that was an excellent kick. The goal umpire not having to move. It went straight over his head. Costa tackled by Snell. The umpire will call for a bounce.
Interchange the same as the first quarter for the Crows. Jimmy Cook, Shane Allen, Orman-Allen and Tyson.
Thanks, Neil. Adelaide 19, lead Geelong 7. 2-goal margin in favour of the Crows. If they're to win this game, you would say that their first quarter would go a long way towards it. They were very good. Gary Hocking held a bit too high in that congested area quite near the centre circle. He comes out towards this members' side of the ground. Gathered there by Raleigh, not able to break away. Eccles and Riccardi, and umpire Goldspink will bounce.
It'll be an interesting battle with Eccles and Raleigh, both young players playing well this year, both on the wing.
Graham, we've got an interesting one here with Rashudo trying to pick up Hocking and Kilpatrick trying to pick up Rashudo.
So the ball at not quite up to right half forward favouring Geelong. Ben Hart's kick goes back close to the wing. Caven made the ball his, crashed his way through. He was taken by Milburn, but he got the kick away. It's put Geelong under pressure on their full-back line. Sanderson trying to break away. Back there is Simpson, very well tackled by Edwards. Still Edwards, a good contest provided there by Tyson Edwards, as we see Mansfield in the hands of the trainers in the little box up in the left-hand corner of the screen.
Gee, boys, if you were down here I was, that was a nasty crack. That was a real whack.
Yeah, right on the nose too, I think, Curls, and gee, that hurts.
I'd say she'd be broken, that nose.
Well, won't stop him running, I wouldn't think. Luke Roberts coming on anyway. So the Woodville West Torrens, the South Australian boys, sorry, Cameron Roberts coming on. So the South Australian players keen to have a look how he goes.
Now Snell, it may be a little bit fortunate, but he's got the ball down to Steinfort. And Snell running beautifully. Get it back again. Now they move it a bit quicker. And Snell has got it in front of McLeod. Oh, just absolutely telegraphed that. And it was well smothered off the boot by Andrew McLeod. Forces a throw in. The ball at right half forward for Geelong.
Good smother.
One of those little 1%ers provided by Andrew McLeod. The ball spilling now close to centre wing, and Goodwin not quite able to control the football. It will be thrown in right on centre wing in front of where the players enter the arena here at Kardinia Park. The scoreboard indicating the Crows leading by 2 goals, 3-1 Adelaide, 1-1 Geelong.
Robbo, I'll get that injury report for you in a second. They've taken the boys straight down to the room, so I'll wait for the doctor to come back.
And the byplay between Rashudo and Hocking seems to have sorted itself out. Rashudo will stay on Hocking, and I think Kilpatrick has conceded he's going to have to pick up Simon Goodwin.
That would be a main event in most stadiums around the world. Here's Hocking, gets the hand pass directly to James, who comes back to Eccles. Eccles did pretty well. He spotted Caven up ahead. Caven kicks it down towards half forward. Robran up against 2 of them, knocked away by Sanderson. Scholl did nicely twice. Sees a man to the outer side. That's Hall, who's back in business. Little chip pass across the ground. Hall meters in the clear. Time and space now. Calling for it in the middle is Milburn. He props. Milburn is still on. He comes in that direction. Milburn takes the mark. Plays on. Feeds it back to Hall. Hall is running down towards half forward. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Big leap down there by James. Burns. Socket off the ground by Connell. It's like a pinball machine in there. Ricocheting around off bodies and eventually across the boundary line.
And this is going to be hard work for the Crows. They're not moving smoothly at all at this stage.
And Brad Scholl is always going to be dangerous. He's got an ability to get into packs and out of packs, and he just generated that movement forward.
Behind the pack, opportunity for Wood. Hooks it inside the 50. Spinks on the lead, left it behind. Here's trouble for the Crows. Burns releases King. King across the body. Whoops, clean ball down there in the square by Steinford, but out of bounds in the pocket. Golden opportunity goes begging. Awkward one. But did pitch in front of him. He elected not to meet the ball, though, and couldn't stifle it.
I don't think you can be too critical of him here, Dennis. Just watch, the ball's going everywhere. He just gets there, and oh, it's a classical leg break, isn't it?
Magnificent vagaries of the oval ball.
Spinks, snapshot goal.
And an important goal for Geelong into the breeze. And the umpires found a free kick. It might be going to Adelaide, so obviously a Geelong player creeping over the line as that ball was bounced. And a free kick to Marsh. All single goal kickers at this stage. The kick by Marsh is a beauty. Gets terrific distance. Gathered back there by Bizzle. Threads his way through. Then the hand pass missed its target. Sanderson would be happy if this went over, I would think. And it does for a boundary throw in about 45 metres out from the Adelaide goal.
Robbo, report from Mansfield, a crack in the nose. They haven't confirmed whether it's broken yet, and they don't know whether they'll be able to come back on.
Well, that picture tells the story, though, girls. It's not attractive, but at least it's not bleeding.
Connell gets the hand pass. James runs onto it. Well tackled by Sanderson. Wren was tackled by Colbert, and some good defensive work there by both sets of players. They've locked it up in front of the Adelaide goal, and the Crows would be looking. There's Derek Hall. We saw him come off the ground towards the end of the first quarter, and that little bit of treatment just above his left ear, the blood was streaming from there in his clash, a head clash with Peter Vardy, and that's Peter Vardy in screen there. So both players look as though they've recovered and will play out this game. Sanderson's kick back towards Hall, punched from behind by Ben Hart. Nearly swooping on at Milburn, knocked forward by Jarman, close to the line Edwards and Raleigh, and it goes over for a throw-in. 19 plays 13. We're probably about a third of the way through the second term.
The cut man really plays an important part in football now, doesn't it? It looks like Hall had almost a plastic skin over that cut.
Like Gus D'Amato in the corner. Down goes Hocking. Well, I think he's holding the ball. Well, the umpire doesn't agree with me, but nobody really was locking it in.
About to see interchange for the Crows, Tyson to come on and replace James.
And you just sense that Geelong are holding and their intensity has lifted at the moment.
Yes, they've gritted their teeth. James knocking it back towards the middle. Hart, half chance, did brilliantly. Got it out to Rashudo. Hand passes close to the boundary line, taken by Connell. Connell kicks well inside the 50, over the top Colbert. And a free kick is going against Wren, who was the meat in the sandwich there.
Yes, and it's not quite working for Sean Wren in the forward pocket. Ben Marsh looks comfortable there, but Sean Wren not quite looking at home.
Riley plays on, gets it to Shaw. It bounces in front of King, but he's got ample time. King, interesting kick up towards the wing. Well, the breeze won't affect that. Down goes Kilpatrick into the wrong dugout, I think. Now Raven, fronted up to by Hall, and the umpire made an inglorious arrival. As he arrived, he slipped over. Nasty situation for this to eventuate. I think the Geelong player is down and hurt. There's been no sign of him.
Well, there's a 2 or 3 foot drop there, Dennis, almost a metre in the modern terms.
Let me say here, Graham, this boy Kilpatrick really came hard into the umpire's area, hit the concrete wall very, very hard. I don't know what his condition is, but I'd say he'd be very, very sore.
Now, is that necessary, Curls?
Sorry?
Was that necessary by Caven then?
Well, I don't think it was outside the rules. It was just unfortunate it was so close to the boundary.
Caven got a free kick, which didn't help the mood of the crowd. Kicks it down towards half forward. Costa immediately has company. He's double team, gang tackle, drag down, bounce. Well, about 75 metres out from goal, Kilpatrick.
We at least have a game. It doesn't look as though it's concussed, Curls. It looks as though he just hit his back and he may be winded.
Let me say I'm glad it's him and not me.
Curls, you would have bounced straight up.
Milburn out of the congestion, inside the centre square, hitting the ball hard is Smart, gets it across to Rashudo. Strong Shepherd off the ball by Hart. Rashudo long inside the 50. Edwards worked out of it. Plenty of cats get back. This is Scholl. Can that inspire them? Scholl back towards half-back. Derek Hall, who stood up very quickly for his teammate, has the ball across half-back. Generally a placid type of customer. Used the ball brilliantly. Got it back towards the middle. Milburn's hand pass finds Bizzle. Bizzle, a second bounce. Riley tells him to run on when he should have been shepherding, really. Now, as a result, they've got a problem. Trying to hack it forward as Milburn applies a tackle. It spills out. Down goes Connell. A hand pass comes back to Tyson. Tyson is slung. Getting a hand to it is Riley. Bounces inside the centre square. Trying to pick it up down there was Minch. Dug it out. Milburn's hand pass. Releases Riley. Caven's got him now. Is that holding the ball too high? It's the umpire. Riley will get a free kick.
DC, we have Mansfield back ready to come on.
Well, he ducked his head. He slipped. I think the umpire was just trying to ease the pressure a little bit there, because this game has really heated up. We have got a great game on our hands at the moment.
You wouldn't believe that 2 players could slip and slide like the Geelong boys did. They're both breaking down field.
Not players that play and practice on the ground. You think they know what sprigs to wear and how the surface moves, or not?
Well, it was Bizzle on the first occasion and then young Riley. And when Bizzle broke, gee, it looked as though it was going to be dangerous signs for the Crows.
Yep. Well, there's a movement on here from Geelong.
Wood's kick has found Steinford.
Yeah.
Rob, I'll repeat what I said before. The Crows are not travelling well at this stage, and D. Jarman just cannot get into the game.
Well, Steinford, it'd take a good kick to score. He's going into the breeze, but he fancies his chances. By gee, it's a good kick, isn't it? Yeah. Don't worry about the distance and the accuracy, both perfect.
Here's a couple who bought a renovator's delight. While they're proud of the breakthrough they made,
put in some French doors and then pave the courtyard.
not everybody shares their vision. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
Let's start with Accent. It's good value, it's our own brand, great range of colours.
From the store that understands it's not just the low price, it's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
You can see it, can't you, darling?
Yeah, it'll come.
Who would have thought? 3 goals at either end. A very stiff breeze going down the ground. 3-1 apiece.
It's played in the mind, Dennis.
Yes. Minch. Comes away with it alongside the centre circle. Momentum is running with the Cats at the moment. Up goes Burns, knocked away by Edwards. Camp down in front is Hocking. Pops it out wide, Spinks, lets it bounce. Bearing down is Stevens. And across the boundary line it goes.
And Ben Hart points at the umpire and says he took it out deliberately up. But the umpire couldn't be conned.
Ben coming from a distinct point of view. Boundary throw in right on the 50 as those Cats look on. Mansfield the worse for wear. Burns tried to go back to Riccardi. Tyson over the ball, needs to be careful, and the umpire decides to ball it up.
And I think the umpires today are letting some very dubious hand passes go. That one from Ronnie Burns particularly.
So this bounce about 35 metres out directly in front of the Cats' goal. Steinfort knocked it straight up in the air. Came again, could have been taken high. No free kick. It's hacked out of the defence by Eccles back towards the defensive 50. Riccardi's in trouble, only as far as Tyson with a hand pass. Wood is there, charging in Bizzle. Hall left it behind. Bizzle close to the boundary line. And out she goes. Bizzle stirred them up.
Why have three umpires when something like that happens right in front of one of them and they just let it go?
Yeah, we just watch it again here now. Is he taken high? I don't think there's any doubt about that. You've got to wrestle on behind the play. There is some feeling in this game, and as long as it doesn't get untidy, that's good.
Well, it's certainly livened up Sleepy Hollow. Ronnie Burns, snapshot by Ronnie's missed.
Well, he looks threatening. He's playing in front of Andrew McLeod at the moment, taking his opportunities. Andrew's putting plenty of pressure on. The Geelong team have lifted, and the Crows are struggling a little bit.
Kick-in has been marked by Stevens for Adelaide in their left-back pocket. That emergency umpire was out on the ground then too. May have been having a chat to a few of the players behind play. Geelong outnumber Adelaide here, but not able to break away. Good tackle by Costa on Steinfort, locks it up.
Robbo, Malcolm Blight would certainly not be happy with what he's seeing. They're just stalled to an absolute halt, the Crows.
Can you have a day? Can you have a day like this when the conditions are a little bit blustery, maybe down at ground level like they are?
Yeah, it could be, but no, they've got to learn to play better than that.
Kells, has Sean Wren been taken off the ground? Can you just check the bench for me, please?
I shall.
So the umpire's going to bounce just forward of centre wing in Geelong's attacking half, and there is
Sean Wren. Surprising.
James, and looks like Edwards, is it?
Shane Allen's gone to the forward pocket.
Milburn bashes it forward. Nigel Smart up high. Somehow broke the tackle and then kicked it out of the full.
They're very ragged, the Crows, very ragged.
Free kick to be taken by Milburn for Geelong.
And Nigel Smart, he's not the greatest kick on his left boot. And it went out of...
Great effort by Gary Hocking in front of Prosciutto. Handball to Riccardi. Riccardi across the line. Burns, can he turn his opponent inside out? He left the ball behind. Edwards is not on the bench, he's on the ground. Edwards' kick out towards the wing where it's taken over for a boundary throw-in.
Yes, Robbo, Malcolm Blight's moved Tyson Edwards from the half-forward flank back onto Ronnie Burns. He's concerned about that. And Andrew McLeod has gone to the forward line for Adelaide, and Brad Scholl is his opponent. So Malcolm Blight concerned about his ground-level crumbing ability in the forward line.
Oh, the ruckman touched the ball. Jarman got the handball away, taken by Goodwin. Long kick down towards centre half forward. Going back was Robran. Leaping over the top down there was Roberts. On the ground is Scholl. Scholl gets through, kicks it through the centre square. Hart, who's been very good, goes looking for Marsh. What a good hand pass it was. Marsh broadens things, comes across to Goodwin, who tucks it back inside the attacking 50. Didn't spot Sanderson coming back, was thinking about Modra. Modra gets in amongst the legs of Wood. Down went Sanderson. That was a strong tackle. Tyson gets it to Robran. Robran to Modra. Modra across to Costa. Costa, not the best kick in the world, goes from just inside the 50 and misses to the right-hand side.
Yes, but significantly some desperation both from Tony Modra and Darren Jarman in Adelaide's forward line. Kept the ball in there. Handball to Kim Costa, and he'd dearly love to kick a goal, Kim. He's kicked 7 for the season, but he's also kicked 9 behind, so his conversion rate is not great.
And not all that great as the scoreboard. Just 6 goals kicked in this match. We've got 7.5 minutes left in the first half. The kick in by Sanderson goes wide. Chance here for Tyson. Knocked off the ball. Wood. Now Riccardi. He's run down from behind by McLeod, but an umpire's found a free kick back a little earlier than that.
Yeah, he played the first free kick and was looking for advantage when there was an advantage.
But Graham Wren is okay and he's about to replace Marsh now.
So a goal kicker from last week was Wood. Kicks in towards centre half-back. Trying to swoop on this is Allen. Taken away by Scholl. Tackled very nicely by Costa. But the umpire has deemed that as a bit high. So maybe Geelong a little fortunate. Scholl's kick wide and Spinks in front of his face. Well done. Gets the hand pass away. Snell looking to hand pass the ball off. Kicks across his left shoulder, but it's marked safely back there by Rashudo.
Yeah, just a basic mistake of running outside on this ground when you should run inside and just open up the face of the goals.
Short to Hart. Up from the back pocket. Chips the ball about 35 metres to Marsh. The build up slow again. Marsh did well though. Feeds it back to Connell, running through the middle. He kicks it down towards half forward. Robran in from the side. Juggled attempt at the mark. Hitting the pack hard was Vardy. Down he went. Trying to crash his way through down there with Sanderson. He's going to get a free kick. He was taken high. Brendan Sanderson has really developed into a class act. Across to Scholl, another who found his second life here at Geelong. Kicking up towards midfield. Beautiful kick. Milburn likes to present inside that centre square. Now he plays on. Sells himself into some trouble. The kick not particularly good. Ricochets off Ellen. It comes back towards Ellen. Putting a hand in there was Modra. Diving in on top is Milburn. He did bring that ball back, and he's been penalised accordingly. Well, that's a brave decision by the umpire, and the crowd won't be happy when they realise.
Yes, I'm sure Gary Ayres' instructions to his players are not to run yourself into trouble and then have to go short, but that's what it appears the Geelong players have been doing of late.
Shane Allen's kick to the goal square. Up high, under pressure, Robran Vardy.
How did he give it to him?
The steal of the day so far.
Jarman coming off.
You better make that two.
Well, Matthew Robran had the ball in his hands, but it was just taken away by Peter Vardy. He had the momentum and kicked the goal. Minch beaten for it by Wren. Ball just smashed out of there by Geelong. And you would reckon that that might have been the siren, but no, folks. I think there might be a train out there somewhere. Nigel Smart, his kick, be marked by Rashudo. Rashudo's on centre wing, no one on the mark. He plays on quickly, kicks it out wide, and Tyson is marked. Right half forward, his kick in towards the pocket, good mark, Modra. That's 50 metres.
It's got to be 50, surely.
It's got to be, you can't.
Oh, he's big.
It was a clean mark, and then just blatantly thrown to the ground.
Two separate actions, weren't they?
Well, this one. Maybe it wasn't fierce enough.
Mind you, the 50 metres, 2 savage a penalty, but under the laws of the game, it was a 50-metre penalty.
Well, Modra will get the distance. He's got the breeze at his back. It's a pretty good kick, but knocked over for a rush behind in the finish by the Geelong defence. So Tony Modra, 1 goal, 2 against his name.
Robbo, we saw that Jarman, disappointing so far, has been taken from the ground and replaced by young Cook.
Kick in has been marked by Scholl. 11th kick coming up for Scholl. Goes short. Mark taken by Wood. 27 plays 20. Adelaide have the advantage. It's not a great one. They've got the breeze at their back in the second term. They've kicked 2 goals. Geelong have kicked 2 goals against the breeze. So Wood's kick lands close to the wing. Good mark. Excellent mark taken by Milburn in front.
It's played well. It's off to Snell. Forward of half-back. Snell in 2 minds eventually. Boots down towards half-forward. Derek Hall uncontested. Plays on immediately. This is Burns. Burns the low one. Inside the 50. Stevens didn't touch the ball. Socket off the ground by Rashudo. It comes to Smart. Smart across the ground. McLeod had to go and did brilliantly. McLeod's away then. Showed some great courage. Kicking down towards half forward. Robran. What a good mark opposed to Roberts.
Graham, how do you see the one where Rashudo playing out the back pocket on Hocking?
Well, Malcolm Blight unusually just wants one player to run with their key playmaker, and
I can't agree with that one.
It's restricting Mark Rashudo's effectiveness, there's no doubt about that.
Robran gets onto a spiral and misses to the right-hand side of behind.
And indeed, it's unusual for Malcolm Blight to do that, Kels, because he's always let his key playmakers run through the centre. But today we see Goodwin running with Kilpatrick and Rashudo running with Hocking.
Margin 8 points. Another goal would be handy. The man slipping in behind the zone and taking the mark is Wood, who booted 4 goals last week in that upset over the Western Bulldogs. Goes out wide. This is Roberts. Right on the defensive 50. It's 4-4 to 3-2. High kick towards the wing, showing the judgment there, and the class is cold, but that was a fine mark.
He's a player that Geelong just need to get into the game a little bit more. He's a very, very much a quality player. Goes in short.
Colbert's actually gone into the centre since Kilpatrick's been injured in that clash in the umpire's bench.
Well, it's important that you get something from your quality players, isn't it? McKinnon off the right, kicks towards full forward, and getting back is Caven marking safely across that full back line. Gets the hand pass away to Rashudo. His kick is all right. Crows working well back there. Tyson over the top to Stevens. Run down by Riccardi. Got the hand pass away. Fortunately went to Costa. Back to Tyson. Tyson's kick towards half forward. Spills to the back of the pack. Opportunity for Cook. Cook onto the ground. Hand pass to McLeod. Can this move of McLeod into the forward line pay off? Allen from behind. Big punch. Goes over for a boundary throw in up against that left behind post. Only metres around from the Crows' goal.
Yes, Brendan Sanderson just able to thump it back there. He's been a very reliable player. Played every game for Geelong this year.
Matthew Robran in front. Still a chance for Robran. Back to Goodwin. Left foot snapshot by Goodwin is a good kick and well marked by Mansfield.
Out of defence then, back towards half-back. Rowley needed to go. Costa came over the top, fighting his way out of there was Vardy. Gets the hand pass off to Robran. Crowd not happy again, thinking Rowley should have got a free kick. Robran down towards Modra.
Tony Modra's taken a great mark, but the Geelong crowd absolutely incensed that James Rowley didn't get the free kick. But Tony Modra, he's presented himself well. It's his 3rd mark. He's kicked 1 goal. And that's what he likes. Defender just sit in front of him, up on the shoulder.
Well, he's kicked 13 goals against Geelong, 7 of them here at Kardinia Park. So sparse return, really. And this very difficult, runs around, goes with the left, hits the post. Deserved a bit of fight. Well thought out, well constructed, and just missed.
Well, he's probably better to go with his check side kick, because he can do that quite effectively. He put himself under all sorts of pressure.
Tony Modra, a little bit frustrating for him so far in this match, but at least he's getting his hands on the football.
Yep.
And
that's magnificent.
Terrific stuff.
Contender for the Cadbury's Mark of the Year, that one.
Oh, nearly another one. Nigel Smart up over the top, but he elected to go for the punch.
Well, I think Nigel thought about it. He said, no, I'll do the discipline thing, I'll punch. But Lee Colbert, what a mark.
Robbo, without doubt, Gary Ayres is winning that tactical battle with Rashudo, the driving force for the Crows of late, sitting in the back pocket.
Yeah, but Curls Hocking is sitting in the forward pocket.
Yes, you need both from both a bit more from both players, don't you? Wood to Snell, Snell to centre half forward, and a good mark, excellent mark taken by Spinks in front of Stevens. Hand pass to Burns. Burns plays onto his left, still running, and the siren has broken it all down. Stop that threatening forward move by Geelong. So at half-time, Adelaide lead by 9 points, and it's only happened in the last 4 or 5 minutes. They have kicked 4 goals 5 to 3 goals 2. And all single goal kickers for Adelaide, Modra, Vardy, Marsh and Rashudo. For Geelong, Spinks, Steinfort and Mansfield.
Well, Michael Mansfield not particularly happy there. Now, there were a couple of dubious decisions, of course, against the Geelong. It didn't go Geelong's way, but I suppose he's allowed to. Is he acting captain?
He is acting captain.
He's allowed to speak to the umpire, and he's doing it in a controlled manner. Certainly just making his point anyway. If you can do that without getting agitated or abusive, and the umpire responding by listening too. And it's an interesting, absorbing game of football so far. You felt the momentum swing on a couple of occasions, and you'll hear the Geelong crowd give these umpires a huge send-off here. They haven't been happy.
I think Michael was a bit nasal. That was the problem. He had to repeat most of it. So off he comes. Half-time at Cardinia Park. Interesting affair that found some life in the second quarter. Adelaide 4-5, Geelong 3-2.
This 7 News Update is brought to you by Colonial.
Good afternoon. Dramatic pictures of an arson attack in upmarket Walkerville. A home undergoing major renovations went up in smoke, leaving a damage bill of $150,000. The full story at 6. Also, Christopher Skase granted citizenship of the Commonwealth of Dominica in the Caribbean, and outrage over a ghoulish tour retracing the final moments of Princess Diana's life.
Nobody knows news like 7.
The Mitsubishi Triton Club Cab offers more cab storage space than any other ute in its class.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
With Smart Chat, I can call long distance anywhere in Australia and talk for hours. Trouble is, so can my mum.
Mum?
How many people do you think came through here yesterday?
Hundreds of people. Hundreds of people.
It was incredible. You really don't know why we're so busy? I know why.
500 quilts are up for grabs. Feather and down quilts, wool quilts, quilts at 30% off. 20,000 quilt cover sets are up for grabs.
What about the sheet sets at half price? Will they sell? Does Imelda know her shoe size?
Designer Direct Superstore, 12 Burbridge Road, Mile End.
I've created a monster.
One of the most talked about events each year is the Crows Players Concert. Well, it's back. The Camry Crows Westpac Players Concert, Sunday, August 23 at the Clipsal Powerhouse. See the Crows players showcase their hidden talents. The concert will be hosted by SAFM's Paul and Amanda and will feature guest judges including Malcolm Blight. Tickets are just $11 for adults and $5.50 for kids. So get in there now and book one of the hottest seats in town. Tickets are on sale at Venue Tix outlets or phone and charge on 8223 7788.
Life's not just about hard work, mate. It's about having a good time. My oath.
And the good times, great food and great service continue at Lone Star. Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon.
Hey, they're open every day for lunch and dinner.
G'day, this is Sean Craig Murphy.
And this is Craig Bruce from Green, Friday Nights at the Planet.
If you love the 80s like we do, you're going to love this brand new CD called Hit Generation.
It's the best of Stock Aitken and Waterman with songs from Kylie Minogue, Rick Astley and Bananarama.
And it's available from leading edge music stores everywhere.
Here's a family who wants to enhance their outdoor living area and add value to their home with a new deck and garden. And
Again, that boy is very, very sore. He hit the concrete and the wooden seating here, and that was a nasty one. From the Crows' point of view, Malcolm is very concerned about the way they're moving the ball forward. There's no system, no clean ball work at all. A lot of players, as we've seen, are losing their footing. It's a bit of a tricky ground, this one. It looks good, but it's very soft, and they are losing their footing on, particularly on turning. It's a very scrappy game, as we've seen. There's not a lot of cohesion on either side going forward. The midfield is a bit of a mess. There's no forward standing out at this stage that is threatening to take the game apart. So it's often been said in footy that the third quarter is nearly always the match-winning one. So we'll see at three-quarter time which side is the better placed.
Thanks, girls. Just checking some of the leading possession winners on the ground. Brad Scholl's had 11. Peter Riccardi's had 11. Gary Hockings had 9. Ran for the Crows. And James came off the ground. He's got 9. Connell has 9. Rashudo, though, leads the way with 14, followed by Hart with 11. Start of the third term at Cardinia Park. Adelaide 4-5. Geelong, the home team, 3-2.
the base of the pack. This is Costa. And immediately the Crows attack into the breeze. Kicking inside the 50, and Vardy playing in front as you need to on a day such as today. The ball will fall in short over the last 20 metres of its trip. And he's marked only about 35 metres out, but this is no given.
Yeah, so Malcolm Blight's absolutely insistent about that rule, Dennis, too. Particularly with these defenders, you must play in front. And on a day like today, the ball will always fall short. Peter Vardy playing smart football there. Sean Wren has started in the centre for Adelaide. Ben Marsh on the bench.
Vardy at his second. This would be a tonic for them. It's a good kick too. Great start.
Well, Peter Vardy's been so important for Adelaide in these last 3 weeks. He's come back into the lineup and he's presented himself. 7 goals last week, 4 the week before, and 2 so far today in very difficult conditions. But that one against the breeze, he's in front. Ball falls, just, well, it fell into his lap, really. He didn't even have to do the work. More importantly, he kicked very, very truly from a difficult position.
Certainly was a good kick by Peter Vardy for his second goal. And importantly for Adelaide, the first goal of the second half. 5-5 to 3-2. 15 points is the advantage now with the Crows. And Wren gets his fist to it. Not quite clearing there were the Cats. Riccardi, Colbert. Still a chance here. Milburn leaves it for Burns. A little bit of a misunderstanding there. Not between Edwards and McLeod, though. McLeod's kick sets it up for Rashudo. Rashudo's little left foot kick into the pocket. Mark not paid there to Eccles. Gathered by Cook. Taken to the ground by Scholl. And the boundary umpire will throw it in. Not quite up to a left half forward.
Robert, just quickly interchange for Geelong. Snell, Kilpatrick, Mensch and Corrigan. For the Adelaide Crows, James, Orme Allen, Tyson and Marsh.
Not a big record for Geelong here at Kardinia Park this year. You can see there they've lost their last 4 games. And under pressure there, Mansfield, well tackled. Ball spills for McKinnon. He's well tackled too by Eccles. And the umpire will bounce about 35 metres out from the Adelaide goal.
Some big changes for Adelaide at the start of this third quarter. Darren Jarman's playing on the wing. Andrew Eccles has gone to the full forward pocket. Costa is the ruck rover and Andrew McLeod is roving.
Allen had it knocked away. This is Sanderson putting it around the outer side in front and claiming the mark as Goodwin. Adelaide looking much better at the moment than of course they did in the first term as well. Their problems came in the second on the breeze. He kicks back inside the 50. Well taken there by Simpson. Throws it on the boot. He made his debut against Adelaide back in round 5. Played his footy in South Australia. Came from Queensland. Here's Jarman back inside the 50. Loose ball at the back. Roberts over the ball. Paddles it in rather clumsy fashion towards the line. But the umpire impressed with all of that.
Dennis, also the fact that Malcolm has started Sean Wren at the centre bounce for the first time in the match.
Well, that's in keeping with some of their form last season too. Adelaide, they came good at the right time last year, aided by a couple of home finals. Wren bounces it out of bounds in the pocket.
Significantly though, Dennis, they have won in Sydney and Brisbane this year, which have been important games for them.
Made the point too, after 20 rounds last season, they'd won 12. If they win this one, they will be there again. But of course things fell into place for them last year. You need a bit of luck in the finals. Wren working hard against King. Cook puts his arm up and we'll have a ball up as Sanderson picks himself up.
Well, I think Neil Curley mentioned that there's been not a lot of cohesion by either side, not much smooth movement of the ball from one end of the ground to the other, and Geelong need that right now if they're to be any chance in this match. They've got plenty of open spaces if they can get the ball down into their forward line. Gary Hocking, now Simpson, out wide to Sanderson. Sanderson's kick is not too bad in the finish. It bounces over the heads of the players around the centre wing area. Burns, this is what I mean. Now Burns, the handball was a little sloppy, but McKinnon's on his favourite side and should kick a goal, but misses probably everything.
Well, Marty McKinnon is a better kick than that. The handball wasn't good from Ronnie Burns, but nevertheless he had time to gather it. And on the left boot with the breeze, You have to do better than that.
So the football with Mark Stevens, his kick outside the defence. Oh, what a terrific effort that was by McKinnon. He's been paid the mark.
Yes, he probably felt he had something to redeem there.
Well, it was a great leap. Perhaps didn't quite control it, but he was paid. The kick into half forward, good lead and a good kick. The mark was taken by Spinks.
And that's what you like to see Spinks do. He in the first half was more intent on holding position and trying to body Mark Stevens out of the way, but if he just leads into the space, he's got enough pace. He's certainly got good presence. A great pass from Marty McKinnon though, and he didn't need too much start on Mark Stevens, and distance will be absolutely no worry at all for him.
Nothing much the Adelaide boy could do there. Everything was perfect so far. Can Spinks finish it off? His shot for goal is a little too emphatic. And away to the left with the breeze through for a behind.
Yes, and doesn't that hurt? When you're 35 metres in front of goal and you're designated full forward, can't kick it straight.
So the margin 14 points, 15.5 minutes till three-quarter time. Breeze right to left, strong. There's Rashudo up from the back pocket. Coming up for his 16th possession. Drives it long towards the wing. Scholl reaching over the top, got a fist on it. Probing the pack and hitting it hard was McLeod, and he's away. A second bounce. He's running it down towards half forward. McLeod goes to the pocket, and Modra looking intent on using the body and takes a very good mark under the circumstances. If in fact it was all his, it may have ricocheted off Simpson as they came at it, but Modra paid the mark. Goes back to McLeod, who's run on.
Andrew McLeod's role in that movement was just so scintillating. He plucked the ball off the ground as it came off hands, found Tony Modra. Did he take it first? I suggest there was some opposition fist in it.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, McLeod tried to play on, gave it to Rashudo, and Rashudo only about 7 or 8 metres away, immediately under pressure, and they cough it up. Hocking goes short. This is King. Interesting, decides to have a bounce, settles. Vardy gets there, but not in time. Roberts goes up, misses the mark. Connell the crumb, kicks it back towards centre half forward. Ellen surrounded, but he was in the right spot.
Well, he's gone to the half forward flank, having started on the bench, then gone into defence. And he just pops up for Adelaide. He's not a fashionable footballer at all, but every time Malcolm Blight gives him a job to do, he just seems to pop up and do it.
They loved him last grand final night. He kicks from 50. Falls away towards the left. And behind, the Crows increase their lead. It's out to 15 points now.
Gee, you wouldn't worry too much about the distance there, would you? That was a good kick for length.
I just get the impression maybe that grandstand is giving some protection.
Could do.
The players kicking in, because Matthew Robin in the first quarter kicked an enormous kick from the half-forward flank, which made the distance quite easily.
We just saw Malcolm Blight on screen a few moments ago, as usual. Looks quite unruffled. Great leap and mark by Rashudo. Very, very good stats again for Mark Rashudo. 36 plays, 21 Adelaide lead. Rashudo short to McLeod. Just terrific ability to break away Andrew McLeod and put a metre or two between himself and his chaser. Short kick. And over the head there of Modra. Getting back here is Raleigh. Raleigh's kick across the half-back line will be marked by McKinnon. McKinnon looking to move it quickly. Kicks it pretty well straight at Nigel Smart. Getting in there was Milburn, couldn't take it. And Milburn looking at the umpire anxiously.
Yes, well, he felt the pressure from behind, but I'm not sure whether it was a free kick, but perhaps you can ask the question.
Boundary throw in. Close to centre wing, King. Now, how would you pick a free kick out there between the two big boys going at it?
No, it's just ridiculous.
Wren kicks it inside his forward 50. Scholl tries to get it down to Raleigh. The ball eventually coming up for young James Raleigh. Can't break away, gets the hand pass to McKinnon. Close to the boundary line, goes long. Don't mind that. Puts the opposition defence under pressure. Running back, though, taking a good mark is Goodwin. Good one for Adelaide. Short kick will be marked by Steinford. He could nearly catch them out if he gets it down quickly. Derek Hall into the pocket. Go there! He does. And then kicks it high in the air. Hall's going to get it. In the finish, the kick just going with the player, running towards the boundary line. And Derek Hall is marked within scoring range.
And beautiful use of the body here. He just turns it. Just turns his body at the critical time, and Simon Goodwood could not get the spoiling fist in place. And you see the plastic skin on his head where his head was split in the first quarter.
Must kick this goal. And he does. It's a good one. The Cats are a chance.
I was asked to be on that talk show.
Look out, viewers.
Tim breaks all the rules.
Jill's letting loose.
Tim breaks everything.
On national TV.
He's in midlife crisis, crying out for help.
Hello, Jill.
Goodbye, Mom.
Home Improvement at 7:30. Then at 8.
Does that do anything for you?
Yeah. Isn't it funny how the more you work with someone,
the better they start to look.
Fred Savage is learning the hard way.
Beautiful day, isn't it? Yeah, if you started it having sex under the receptionist desk with Debbie.
Working after Home Improvement, Sunday on 7.
James Tyson just running onto screen there, replacing Darren Jarman, who's off again, uninjured. 5-6-4-3. Testing time for the Crows. Crowd support very much, of course, with Geelong. Riccardi's got the ball from the hand pass from Rashudo. Over the top, Edwards. Big fist, the defiant fist, sending it out wide. This is Costa. Costa steers play down towards left half forward. Ellen's in front, knocked away by Sanderson. Over the ball is Robran. Sanderson did well, grabbed the arm, deflected the ball, and got it across the line. And they'll regroup now.
Yes, Darren Jarman starting this third quarter on the wing. Marty McKinnon moved on to him and has had 3 or 4 quick possessions, and I think Malcolm Blight said, we'll get Darren out of there.
A win essential this afternoon for the Crows. Wren to McLeod. McLeod having a good term so far. Hugs the boundary. Missed on the outer side by Riley. Immediately has plenty of company. Crook and Vardy. The ball spills across the line. Not a bad result for the Cats. They're up by 9 points. 11.5 minutes till three-quarter time. I venture to say no threat of weather now. Seems the sunshine is here for the afternoon. And that tells you something about what they've been doing. It's not going to happen today. They won't maintain that sort of average. Rashudo again, though, maintaining his great form, coming up for possession number 19. Off his step, goes short, Cook. Nothing wrong with that. Like tacking into the breeze. Cook, forward of the wing then. Low kick, not a particularly good one. Mansfield missed it. Loose ball at the back. The big fellow will need to go. And realised his limitations there, King, and socketed across the line as Simpson is slow to get up.
Looks a little groggy too.
Yeah, he was right on Tony Modra's hammer as Modra led. In fact, he forced Modra out of the contest. I didn't see any real clash there.
Riccardi not able to gather the ball, and the umpire will have to bounce once again. Milburn and Costa, Gary Ayres, Terry Bright.
Fellas, do you think this narrow ground could be the reason why we're not seeing it so open?
I don't know, because I reckon that it might be just this blustery wind. The players just having trouble getting anything moving. Scholl held too high, and he'll take the free kick. Being asked to go back and kick over the man on the mark. 36 plays, 27. Adelaide lead by 9 points. Long kick by Scholl, out towards the wing. Missed there by Steinford. Kick forward by Nigel Smart. Riccardi for Gary Hockey. I think he thought Riccardi was running to take that. Sean Wren, terrific. Shane Allen will go in and get a goal for Adelaide.
Gee, they're on a hocking, aren't they?
With 3 rounds to the finals, every point counts when Port Power takes on Melbourne at Footy Park.
It's a fantastic hit.
Can the Power make up for last week's hammering? Port versus Melbourne, 4:15 Sunday on 7.
From the brilliant Linda LaPlante comes a blockbuster mini-series event.
Taken everything.
Vanessa Redgrave, Nastasia Kinski, Jennifer Tilly, Dennis Farina. The premiere Bella Mafia, Sunday 8:30 on 7.
So the Adelaide Crows on top by 15 points.
Wren wins it down, laying the ball into the path of McLeod, who stopped, picked it up, kicks it down towards half forward, then Mensch knocked it away from Robran. Roving the pack there was Tyson. Tyson towards Modra. Great mark. Oh, what a good one. That's vintage Modra. Low down, diving, plenty of courage there. And he's marked about 15 metres out.
Dennis, I think we've seen here, Dennis, with the three big guns in the centre square for the Crows, Wren, Rashuto and McLeod, are driving them forward repeatedly.
Well, McLeod's the one, Curls. He's just had a sensational third term, and he just has this habit of getting in and under and getting out with the ball.
Tony Modra going at his second. Gary Hocking just off the ground. Obviously paying the price for that mistake across half back. Menzai Modra has 2 now, and the lead is stretched. It's out to 21 points.
With over 23% more power than Hilux, the Mitsubishi Triton is the first four-wheel drive ute in its class to offer a big V6 engine.
McDonald's presents the original Big Mac meal for $4.55. The one and only Big Mac with an icy cold Coke and world-famous French fries. The Big Mac meal at only $4.55. No wonder it's still wanted.
Well, you wouldn't think that Tony Modra is doing his case any harm whatsoever this afternoon. He's looking a likely type.
Robbo, he has to be re-signed. If it's 2 years or 3 years, who cares? They must re-sign him.
Yes, well, he had a long time out and he's doing very nicely. Only a couple of games back since that bad knee injury. The kick by Riccardi to the front of the goals. Stevens and Spinks. Stevens does well. Held his ground and then forced a throw in.
He did very well, and Spinks grabbed hold. The umpire staring it right in the face, elected to let it go.
Boundary umpire to throw it in. Centre breaks so far for the match. Adelaide 9, Geelong 5. And not so much the dominance of the big men, but certainly Adelaide's players at ground level doing well. Good punch away there by Caven, forces a throw in.
Graham, there's an interesting one. How do you see that with with hockey? Like, you've got a runner, an experienced players played league football. Why can't he give the message?
Well, it amazes me, because Adelaide got a goal while he was off the ground, and someone like Gary Hocking doesn't deserve to be taken off the ground to be informed of a mistake. It wasn't a stupid mistake. It was just a mistake that was made because somebody stumbled.
There he is again. Got it from Steinford. Pulls it back towards the middle. Bizzle up one-handed. Colbert, interesting hand pass. Got it to Wood. Wood about 40 metres out. Bends it back on the breeze. Wide at the mark. Out of bounds. Or rather, no, behind.
Well, I did see Dennis Pagan drag Wayne Carey last year, wasn't it? So I don't suppose anybody is immune from having that sort of treatment from the coach, but...
Yeah, but they were 10 goals in front, don't forget.
And you wouldn't reckon we'd miss it, would you?
No.
It would be hard to recollect.
7-6-4-4. Steinford over the top. Cam Riccardi, or rather Rashuto, knocked it down. Hocking in the action. Gets the hand pass off his knees. The hand pass blanketed in turn from Steinford. Away comes Smart. Smart kicks it back towards midfield. Awkward bounce for Scholl. An obliging one for Milburn. Just outside the 50. Terrible kick, though. Smart's got it. He should have gone long. Although there was nobody down there in the square for the Cats, but he may have got the distance. Hall stands his ground. He's very strong overhead. And he's got this one down towards half forward, about 75 metres from goal. Too far out to score. Finished in the top 10 of marks taken last season. Derek Hall, close to the man on the mark, chips towards the pocket. You doubt the wisdom of that. Over the top Hart. Opportunity for Bizzle. Stands up in the tackle, but he's across the line.
Well, there has been lots of criticisms of Geelong's game plan, and when you see them going short and wide when they're kicking with the breeze, you'd think the criticism was justified.
I can't understand how Milburn was so indecisive straight in the middle of the goal.
Across the 50-metre line, you'd go for goal, wouldn't you?
McLeod's seventh kick in this quarter is a beauty to Allen. He gets it back again. Now just watch what I was talking about earlier. He loves to run and carry the ball, and then he's such a good kick too that covered the player in that area. I think it may have been meant for Eccles. Not quite the accuracy that McLeod would have been desiring.
Not a bad result, though, is it?
Oh, everything Malcolm Blight has done with Andrew McLeod over the last 2 years, McLeod has just responded to, whether it's a defensive role, an attacking role, or a midfield role. Everything that he's asked to do, he does so well.
Robrin doing the ruck work. The ball spills now for Wood. He's held a little high. And he'll get the free kick, maybe the advantage. Well, was it an advantage? The umpire thinks so.
But late
Geelong
now.
still not a certainty to get away. Costa. So it really wasn't to Geelong's advantage. Costa's kick. That's a free kick or look at the mark. Nothing. Nothing. Sorry. Well done by Milburn on this occasion. From half-back. Swings the play wide. Looking for King. Nearly taking the mark was Goodwin.
You sounded like Frankie Valli from the Four Seasons there, Robert.
I don't believe it.
Well, it had to be a mark, surely.
Well, it was one or the other. Yes. It wasn't a free kick or a mark, but anyway.
Mark. Just have a look at this. There's an Adelaide player up early, but he's nowhere near it. Well, inconclusive.
Well, we've seen weaker efforts than that paid a mark.
Yep.
I'm sure. Nigel Smart gets it out to Tyson. Tyson gets a good boot onto it and gets good distance, but it's well marked back there by Mitch.
Yes, Mitch has gone to centre-half back on Matthew Robrin.
So the margin at 20 points. Just under 6 minutes till three-quarter time. It's hard to see the Cats winning from here. They need some late goals. Steinford was up. Riccardi has gone out of the game in this term. A chance to really put his stamp on things here, though. Running with Burns. He kicks from 55. And I think he's missed. Well, perhaps they could have done more, but then again, had it come unglued at half forward, we would have been critical. So Riccardi settled, took the long shot, and missed by about 1.5 meters.
Dennis, he had no alternative. The crowd was absolutely baying for it. For heaven's sake, go long. And with his leg, I think he was quite justified in doing so.
Hart kicks in, just outside the 50, reaching over the top. King angles the punch away, and it's out of bounds.
I don't know why you'd hit it out of bounds if you had the breeze and you were attacking.
Can't stop coaching, Curls.
19 points the margin. Under 5.5 minutes till three-quarter time. King and Wren. Wren takes an almighty swipe at it. Missed it. Rashudo ricochets back towards Edwards. Standing up with a tackle. Connell had it a long time. Comes back towards Wren. And again. And he's taken high. A flying suplex.
Pretty hard to get
by King.
Pretty hard to get them high, aren't they, those big fellas?
Okay, there he is. That's, well, King himself is not small.
Well, he's a tough campaigner, isn't he, Stephen? Sean Wren. Now Costa running beautifully. Rather awkward kick that lands in the arms of Robrin. But I would have thought that that was worthwhile of a mark.
Yes, well, Geelong crowd didn't.
Robrin's kick lands the ball to within about 20 metres, and in goes Allen and hits the post.
Getting a kick, I think. Was he? No.
There was a bit on after the contest, I think. Just watching Tony Modra there, he's not great in his confidence, but that's a mark. He's carried it to the ground.
So Geelong get the ball well away from their goal area, but it's going to come bouncing back. Nigel Smart, second bounce. He was lucky he wasn't penalised then. Not quite retarded enough for the umpire to give a free kick. McKinnon kicks it back to near the wing. McLeod, have a look at McLeod. Away he goes and kicks it into the pocket where the mark is taken by Connell. Still about 55 to 60 metres from goal. A short pass that's chopped off here by Bizzle.
And Gary Ayres losing patience with Brett Spinks. He's been taken from the ground. And Jason Snell going on to full forward.
Margin 20 points. There's Bizzle putting it towards the outer side wing. Rashudo again. What a game he's played. He's won the battle against Hocking and spent some time in a forward pocket. Geelong's forward pocket, man on man. But now Rashudo released and doing very well. The ball off hands close to the boundary line. Simpson can't keep it in. So a throw in on the outer side wing.
And big Sean Wren lumbering off. He's going to have a break.
Lumbering, he's sprinting.
Well, he is actually. His sprint is not much more than a lumber though, Kate. Girls.
Bench knocks it down. Connell back towards half forward. Sanderson played it in front. Mansfield Nice hand pass away, releases Riley, a second bounce. He's running up towards the defensive 50. Still he goes, a third bounce. Good Shepherd from Milburn. Riley, the two youngsters combining. Riley's kick towards half forward. Burns was up, couldn't complete the mark. Edwards finds it on the ground, slips the hand pass away to Caven. Caven on the wing, goes in short. Man loses Connell, 60 metres out. Down towards full forward, and Vardy, 15 metres out, has taken the mark.
I tell you what, Tyson Edwards' form over the last 2 weeks, his endeavour and his intensity when the ball hits the ground. We see Peter Vardy taking the mark, but he's simply on the end of some very, very good work across half-back. Tyson Edwards take a bow.
Peter Vardy kicking at his third goal here, coming off 7 goals, 7 last week. It's a formality, I think. The goal umpire's gone a long way, but Vardy's happy with it. Goal.
Cartons of hard ice. $25.99. Mount Rufus Port. $6.99.
Rosemount Diamond Range. $11.99. Plus a chance to win a diamond.
Cartons Eagle Blue. $19.99. Bundy. Beautiful bottles of Bundy. $22.99 at the Flagstaff.
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local Sip and Save.
Well, it's amazing, Graham, isn't it? How, you know, the guy kicks the goal, he gets his name in the scorebook and in the best players and goal kickers or whatever. But certainly it's down the ground that it's set up on a lot of occasions. And you mentioned there about Tyson Edwards' form, getting the ball. He contested that mark with Ronnie Burns, but just got to his feet so quickly. Out wide on centre wing, Tyson. He's got 2 players running in support. Connell's on the end of the hand pass. Connell's kicking towards centre half forward. Good mark taken by Simpson, this time out in front of Tony Modra. Could probably go to the far side. Sanderson accepts the hand pass and then delivers to Milburn. Not quite quick enough though. Rashudo chipped in. Derek Hall was there for a long time with a few metres to spare. But that slowness of the movement of the ball.
If you're going to go short, it has to be instant. And the old saying, I mean, you never kick short to the contest, and Geelong unfortunately breaking a lot of those rules.
I like Mark Rashudo too. He's going back and steadying. Tony Modra!
Well, it's not as high as he normally gets up, but he's up there. Well, the knees in the back.
You're feeling that he's nearly there?
Well, I've been very pleased with his endeavour. Curls.
He's back.
Max is
not
reaching
quite
for the calculator.
His knees would normally have been on the shoulder, and that stage there in the middle of the back, but he's presented himself well today, and I think as much as anything, his endeavour at the ball has been very good.
And he's kicked 2-3. If he kicks this, he could have kicked 3. Maybe even one of those behinds that he's kicked, and his return could have been 4. It still could be 4.
Oh. Tôi đến Old Trafford bởi vì tôi phát giác ra một tiếng động rất là kỳ cục ở cái máy xe của tôi. Nó kêu tích, tích, tích. Tôi nói cho họ biết điều đó và họ bảo là cái bộ phận tappers đang có một chút trở ngại. Tôi cần cái xe của tôi sửa trong 1 ngày, nhưng họ chỉ sửa mất có vài tiếng đồng hồ thôi. They are that good. They understand.
Goal.
Mark Rashudo getting so busy in the midfield, 22 possessions. Tony Modra 3 goals, and that last one coming from a Cadbury's Mark of the Year contender. Although Winston will be hard to toss, we've got to say that. Marsh knocks it down again into the path of McLeod, relishing this role. Look at him go. McLeod, Modra gets on the end of it. And that's breathtaking football.
Andrew McLeod, this is one of the best quarters I've seen from a midfielder. They're not easy kicks he's getting. I mean, he's not getting on the end of handballs. That's his 10th kick for the quarter.
He had to work through the centre bounce area for that one and beat a couple of players.
Credit to Ben Marsh too, who laid it down into his path. Valuable minutes in place of Wren. This one is bending back. Doesn't quite have the carry. Played against the post. So behind.
Yes, I think if Tony Modra came back and wanted anything extra to his game, it would just be a couple of extra metres on his kick.
Exciting player when he's going. And this afternoon, strong glimpses of it. 9.845. Dying seconds of the third term. High ball towards the midfield. Bizzle goes up, takes the mark. Terrific quarter by the Adelaide Crows. Starting in the centre square. Initially Wren, then late it was Marsh. And the key factor at ground level was McLeod. Just starting those things in there. And then in general play, it was Mark Rosciuto getting so much of the ball.
And Matthew Robin and Peter Barty both walking up to Tony Modra then. They realised he's had a good quarter.
It's three-quarter time at Cardinia Park, and as we've said, the Crows have blown this one wide open. It's 9-2 to 4-5.
You can only do that in a van you can walk through. The Mitsubishi Express walkthrough. Now only $27,990. Drive away.
Here you either play music, listen to music, or move to Utah. Billy got kicked out of music school. That's kind of why we hired him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes daylight seems out of place here, but it does let you get some sleep. There's no better place to be exactly who you are. Drop by sometime. Jack lives here.
We stack 'em high and sell 'em low. Takeaway room pack, handy bookcase, computer desk, and a mobile office chair. $1.99 the lot. Flat packed and ready to go.
You'll love it at the Cornu.
Wide, and it's Mercedes. Lovely little left foot kick by Joe Mercedes has found Kelly Ryan at centre half forward within 35 metres, and the chance for Kelly Ryan, who's been a very good player for the Bombers tonight, and she kicks cruelly. A long goal for the Bombers. A tight struggle here at the end.
With an ANZ Visa footy card, you can score points with your favourite team.
The Bombers have the ascendancy presently. Gee, this is going to make it interesting now.
When we first tried to catch drink drivers, we introduced random breath testing. Then we introduced the booze bus. But now, we're better equipped than ever before. A new command centre has been set up to specifically target drink drive hotspots. Every single police car and bike is now a mobile RBT unit, including laser gun operators. We now have the resources to operate 24 hours a day and patrol side streets as well as main roads. So if you're going to drink and drive, chances are you won't escape the net. Wherever you are. Drink drive, you'll be sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. With Smart Chat, I can call long distance anywhere in Australia and talk for hours. Trouble is, so can my mum.
Mum?
You could get cartons of hard ice.
$25.99.
Mount Rufus Port.
$6.99.
Rosemount Diamond Range. $11.99. Plus a chance to win a diamond.
Carton Eagle Blue, $19.99. Bundy, beautiful bottles of Bundy, $22.99 at the Flagstaff.
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local Sip and Save.
On April the 14th, 1912, the Titanic slipped beneath the ocean waves. What really happened that night has never been completely known until now.
She was unsinkable.
Tonight, 6:30, discover the truth behind one of our greatest mysteries.
Exceeding the limits of what she was designed for, but that's why she sank.
Groundbreaking evidence and survivors' testimony bring alive the unforgettable night that shocked the world. Titanic, Anatomy of a Disaster. Tonight, 6:30 on 7.
Back at Cardinia Park, and the hometown faithful have gone quiet. If you want to make a ruckus, this is what you need in your house. Donna Fisk and Michael Christian. Not the Michael Christian, another Michael Christian, but the Donna Fisk. Fisk and Christian at all good CD stores.
7 Sports hope you're enjoying this match in the 1998 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
Okay, let's check around the league. There's Glenn Kilpatrick, who doesn't look to be too well at all. That left knee is heavily strapped under the gown there. As we saw, went flying into the dugout with Peter Caven right behind him. The McGarry medalist in trouble. Okay, 2 other games being played this afternoon. If you don't wish to know the scores, look away now. Let's go down to curls now. Neil.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Well, as we saw, Kilpatrick, he has to be sore. The doctors report a badly bruised thigh, a badly bruised knee, and generally sore all over. Gary Ayres really asked his players for a final, strong, hard quarter. He realised the game is hard to win. He just wants to really try and put something here in front of his, in front of the home crowd. And on the other hand, Malcolm Blight very pleased, but asked for a strong quarter to finish the game right off.
So a tough time for the Cats. They've been in the finals for a good spread now. I think it's about 8 seasons in a row. Firstly under Malcolm Blight. He was here for 6 years, and more recently Gary Ayres, but they've fallen on hard times and some bad injury problems as well. A lot of youngsters, and they're making mistakes as a result. 9-8-4-5, start of the final term at Cardinia Park. Adelaide running on the breeze, so it's hard to make a case for the Cats from here. King goes up with a backhander wide of the pack. Hitting the ball hard was Smart, and hitting Hocking hard as well. Down he went. Rashudo tried to crash his way through. This is Steinfort, feeds it back. It comes across to King. King goes off a step close to the boundary line. It bounces out of bounds, and we'll have a throw-in.
Adelaide has the luxury of Darren Jarman on the bench. Malcolm Blight hasn't been particularly happy with his form. We don't know whether he's under any sort of injury cloud, but he spent a fair bit of time on the bench, and Sean Wren also starting this last quarter on the bench.
Yes, give the youngster Marsh some ground time. McLeod goes down the ground for Adelaide, kicks in the area of Modra, gathered there by Cook, off to Robran. He's very skillful, Matthew Robran, and he's docked the first goal of the last quarter. I don't know how tall he is, Graham.
I was asked to be on that talk show.
Look out, viewers.
Tim breaks all the rules.
Jill's letting loose.
Tim breaks everything.
On national TV.
He's in midlife crisis, crying out for help.
Hello, Jill.
Goodbye, Mom.
Home Improvement at 7:30. Then at 8.
Does that do anything for you?
Yeah. Isn't it funny how the more you work with someone,
the better they start to look.
Fred Savage is learning the hard way.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Yeah, if you started it having sex under the receptionist desk with Debbie.
Working after Home Improvement, Sunday on 7.
Well, a very good passage of play, resulting in Adelaide's 10th goal, kicked by Matthew Robran. Stephen King kicks it forward for Geelong, but it's chopped off by Nigel Smart. Across half-back, he goes out wide. They can raffle this. Caven is the recipient of the winning ticket. He kicks with the right boot to half-forward. It breaks down. Good mark taken by Minch. Away to Mansfield's had a quiet day. He got a good bop on the nose in about the second quarter and spent a bit of time on the bench. His kick has been marked by Caven.
Been good today. Peter Caven has shown great dash and not at all afraid to run forward from that half-back line.
68 plays 29. It's a 39-point advantage. Oh, great leap there by Tony Modra. Couldn't take the mark. Mansfield pressured by Robran. Simpson pressured by Ormond Allen, and the ball held up at centre-half forward for Adelaide.
Robbo, just to clear up the Jarman thing, there is nothing wrong with Darren, except he just can't find the ball today.
And he doesn't look happy about that. Brett James yawning a bit, just trying to get some oxygen in. But it won't hurt Darren Jarman to have a bit of a shake-up in that regard. He does need great motivation to play the game.
Ormond Allen bashes it further forward. Costa, left foot snap, not good. Misses. The difference in the skill level, Robran able to slot one through and Costa not able to bend that one back.
Kimmy wouldn't have a great chance with his right boot, let alone his left boot, but a fantastic competitor. He's done a pretty good job on Riccardi, as you see, just getting right alongside him there. And certainly one of the most popular Crows members.
12 possessions to Costa, and Riccardi has had 15. Riccardi yet to kick a goal. Good kick by McLeod, gives Cook a chance. He's been on the bench for a fair bit of the game.
But just watch the steal of McLeod. I mean, he has the ball on the string this afternoon. Tim Cook, a left footer.
Player on the mark is about 40 metres from goal. You wouldn't think that Cook would have any problems with the distance. Gee, he's done well, hasn't he? He's kicked the goal. It was a good kick.
Okay. Can you read the fourth line for me? P-O-K-T. Keep going, right to the bottom. O-T-Z-M-L P-D-R-S-O-C S-R-C-E-T-D-P. Good. Made in Australia, printed by Jerry's Printing. Your watch is a Rolex. It's water resistant to 100 metres, but it's a fake. There's only one L in Rolex.
All my life, whatever I do.
Well, you get the feeling the Adelaide Crows are tuning up now. They've got North Melbourne at Football Park to come and the West Coast Eagles at Subiaco. Some exciting football lies ahead. King, they're rewriting the record books this afternoon. Cavan putting it down towards half-forward. This will be their first victory at Cardinia Park. Costa, and the heart seems to have gone from Geelong in front. Modra.
Oh, well, that's magnificent. He's fought to the front spot, and Simpson has done a pretty good job on him. But Tony Modra takes his 7th mark.
Well, Graham, you as a coach, you never experienced a happy moment here, but I think Malcolm Blight will be certainly enjoying this one.
Well, they're dominant now. Modra had to fight for front position then. Simpson wasn't going to let him have it. Good hands.
Going at his 4th, 35 metres out. He's got it. The Crows now putting on a clinic.
Well, Dennis, they are. And if you're in the middle of contract negotiations, as we've said today, this is the only way to reinforce your case. He's shown out there with real endeavour that he's prepared to get in front. He's prepared to fight for the ball. He hasn't kicked as accurately as he would like, but nevertheless, he's given Adelaide something really prominent to kick to. Good hands.
Yes, I think the boys on the outer looking for a stray signature might have to wait for another year or two. Tony Modra, he's done well. I think it's great to see too. He's an exciting player in the AFL competition. King and Marsh, Gary Hocking just handballs it out into the path of Riccardi. And his immediate opponent, Costa, try to run him down. Ben Hart gets rid of him. Costa back to Smart. Beautiful ball handling there by Adelaide. Smart dispossessed. Ormond Allen gets the hand pass away. Cavan down the ground. The advantage is with Adelaide. McLeod might go all the way. He gets back onto his right and then kicks in the direction of Modra. That was one of the marks of the day.
Oh, it wasn't spectacular, but it was so hard. It's the hardest mark he's taken all day because the kick came off the boot at all sorts of angles. It's not a good, accurate kick. He's had to adjust and just outreach Simpson. And unfortunately, the young fella's had a tough day.
Going for goal number 5, Tony Modra, and he's got it.
Better make that 2.
Gee, that was a great mark. Didn't get much of a look at it either. The man up in front, and suddenly it was there and it stuck. 13-9 to 4-5. Modra's got 5. That equals his best against the Cats. King's hand pass comes out wide. Here's Scholl kicking it down towards half forward. Tyson Edwards running hard, handling the ball across half back. Settles. They're getting men free all over the ground now. Goodwin, Rashuda. What a game he played when it counted. His 3rd term outstanding. Forward of half back. Mark Rashuda down towards half forward. Costa should have marked it as it turned out because his marker slipped over. The hand pass from Robran. Soldellen into trouble. Connell making the best of a bad business. A drop kick down towards half forward of a fashion. And now pushed in the back is Corrigan, and he'll get the free kick. Vardy offending. So Corrigan kicking it back towards the wing. Scholl in best position. And up he goes. And that was strong hands by Scholl. Had to reach over the top of about 3 and simply plucked it. So Scholl, the defensive side of the wing, down towards half forward. Well, a push in the back on Spinks, and he'll get the free about 65 metres out. As he comes back to take the kick, nobody inside the attacking 50 for the Cats. Players getting back there now. Spinks, who can kick it a long way, goes down towards the pocket then. Colbert appear to be held on to. No free kick. The ball spills towards the boundary. Snell and Milburn, the two youngsters combining, but nothing comes of it. Across the line he goes. 87-29. Last term, just over 14 minutes till full time.
Young Scholl here. I think he's a very exciting player. It's a great leap, good pluck.
Top effort by Brad Scholl on that occasion. Caven makes the ball bounce for himself eventually. His kick chopped off out there by Steinfort, comes back to Spinks. Spinks to straighten up, kicks with the left to the goal square and touched over for a behind to Geelong. Pretty predictable stuff, the Geelong bench.
And unfortunately, Hamish Simpson, a bit of a victim of Tony Modra's dominance today. Martin McKinnon has gone to full back on Tony Modra.
Hart kicks out, punched away by Hall, goes back to Sanderson. Sanderson in towards full foot, magnificent Ben Hart. Handball further forward, opportunity there for Costa. Look for Marsh, Costa gets it back, shrugs the tackle and then kicks to McLeod. McLeod. Well, if you gave votes in half a game, he's got 6 of the 9 Brownlows, or 6 of the whole Brownlow medal votes. Out wide, Edwards, over the top, Cook. Back he goes to Edwards, around onto his right. And another goal to Adelaide, kicked by Tyson Edwards.
That's the right leg grain that he's favouring, not the one he had done.
Well, he's definitely favouring something down there, Curls.
Right leg.
Okay. Scoreboard favouring the Crows. 14-9 to 4-6. Could turn a bit ugly, I think, from these Geelong fans who have been generally tolerant so far. Scholl, Milburn, back to Scholl. Scholl at close quarters to Hall. Hall hand passes out wide to Bizzle. Bizzle under pressure. Good pressure applied too by McLeod. Affected the kick. It had to be high. And the scoreboard as it is, no need for that really, but, well, there is a need, but some players can take the odd short step. Not McLeod. He wanted to lunge at that kick. And as a result, they've got a throw in down towards right half forward. There's Gary Hocking. Not the best of days for him. Unkind bounce too initially. Slowed his momentum. Gets boot to ball. It ricochets off a body. Stevens got a fist in there somehow. This is Colbert, confronted by Edwards. Connell, as always, busy. Hooks it back towards half-back, and the mark is taken by Goodwin, who wants to go. Connell, 17 possessions. Up towards the wing. Ormond Allen was telling Rashida to keep coming. Well, they cannon into each other, thanks to Michael Mansfield. And Ormond Allen will get the free.
It's could have been a bit dangerous here. You just see Ormond Allen falling across Rashida. No damage, though.
McLeod again. What a wonderful player he's developed into. McLeod, now was that out? The boundary umpire says it was, and that was very close as he fed it back inside to the running Vardy.
His acceleration and his touch at the moment is sensational, but Andrew's not arguing too much.
No, it's definitely over the line. I've got a clear view of that.
Good on you, Curls.
So the ruck work being done by Marsh up against King, taken away by Gary Hocking. Hocking nearly up to the middle of the ground. His kick falls a little short, well marked by Colbert. Lee Colbert, he's had a fairly quiet day too. Found it very difficult to get into the game, as have a lot of his mates for Geelong. Kicks it wide, taken out there by Bizzle. Bizzle handballs it off to Minch. Minch further afield to Burns. Burns can run on and maybe get a goal here. Shot for goal by Ronnie Burns, looks pretty good. Late goal to Geelong. Burns kicks his first goal. 11 minutes left in the match. And all single goals to the Cats. Ronnie Burns, Spinks, Hall, Steinfort and Mansfield. And what a great return to some sort of form by Tony Modra for Adelaide. 5 goals for. Peter Vardy has kicked 3.
Yeah, just a bit of criticism here. The Geelong players working it around with handball and short kick, but eventually it came to Ronnie Burns, who kicks his first goal. And amazingly, still strong voice from the Geelong stand. They don't lie down easily, do they? They trail by 9 goals.
(14-9) to 5-6. Good bounce in the middle. King and Marsh. Marsh follows the ball through again. Connell gained about 5 metres. Bizzle in the opposite direction did nicely. Riley inside the centre square. Kicks inside the 50 now. Hart in best position. Sanderson showed a lot of courage. It ricochets across to Smart. Smart kicks to midfield. Steinford takes the mark. Coming off the wing. Hand passes alongside is Milburn. Milburn still inside the centre square. Watch for Smart to arrive quickly. He does. Takes the ball away. His closing speed is terrific. And that was tailor-made with the ball hanging in the breeze. And away he goes. Wind assisted around the outer side. It wouldn't count at the Olympics. He pulls it back inside the 50. And Mansfield takes the mark. So often the way a player goes on a run, and by the time he kicks the ball, invariably things are not as they should be up ahead, and sometimes the kick isn't terrific either. And now the ball is out of bounds outside the 50.
Dennis, I don't know if you noticed that McLeod has been taken from the ground, replaced by James.
Yes, I don't think Malcolm wanted to take any chances, Neil. He was just throwing himself into the play. He's done so much. And with Jarman, Wren and McLeod on the bench, we've got...
the $1 million bench again.
Well, hang on, no, we've got some ice there. Is that a problem, or is he being rested, Curls?
I'll just check him out.
Well, the football is at left half forward for Adelaide. 93 plays 36.
And disappointing for Geelong. I mean, that's 6 out of 9 home games that they've lost, and this is the 5th one in succession. So you've got young players. You must be patient, though.
Corrigan gets the ball to Riccardi. Riccardi out wide. Gathered here by Colbert. Good understanding there with Bizzle. Bizzle slipping again. Did that in the second quarter. Towards full forward, taken by Spinks. Very well tackled by Stevens to lock the ball up just inside Geelong's forward 50. Stevens is stuck to his task on Spinks. Bounce of the ball. Stevens from behind. Nearly taken by Connell. Raleigh is there. Handball over the top. No free kick. Derek Hall leaves it now for Wood. Wood over his left shoulder. Kicks to the front of the goals. Well marked by Spinks in front of Stevens.
Yes, well, Brett Spinks hasn't had a great day. He's tended to body rather than lead. And Mark Stevens has played pretty well on him. Stevens has been off the ground from time to time. But just watch this. The ball is bending, so it's going to drop short. And Spinks in the perfect spot for it.
Brett Spinks going for his second goal. Today's attendance, 22,384. So, not too bad. They're die-hard supporters. Geelong got no hope of making the finals, but they still come along to watch the Geelong side play football here at Kardinia Park. And they're watching Brett Spinks go for his second goal. And he makes no mistake.
He vanished on a bushwalk. They found his body floating in a watery grave. Who killed Andrew Bright and why?
We are exploring a number of different theories.
Help solve the riddle to a young man's death. Australia's Most Wanted, Monday. 3 of Chicago Hope's favourite faces, Adam Arkin, Mandy Patinkin and Christine Lahti.
What's going on?
Join forces with Academy Award winner William Hurt for a very special movie, The Doctor, Tuesday 9:30 on 7.
A season that's hard to rate as far as Brett Spinks is concerned. 34 goals, including 6 against the Hawks round 6 and 2 hauls of 5, but Other days he's been pretty quiet. Rashudo down towards half forward. It spills to Edwards, who pulls it back towards full forward. Modra in position A once more. Almost the mark. Loose to the pocket. Swooping on it, Vardy. Running away from his own goal. Back towards the middle. Goodwin back to Vardy. Working the angle. Well, he's pulled it back too much. That was a nice situation to be in there. The running goal, just tugging it back, but too much.
Dennis, just confirming McLeod, no problem. I think, Graham, you called it right. Just take him off as a precautionary measure.
And I think Tony Modra's the player they should perhaps look at taking off as well, Curls.
McKinnon kicks it directly to Smart. Sanderson slipped over. Now Smart probably would fancy his chances from here. The spiral with the breeze directly at his back.
Malcolm Blight does encourage them to at least do one torpedo.
Well,
if that doesn't work, get out.
He hasn't used up his ration yet, so he's one in credit.
No, it's going to be the drop punt, I think, Dennis.
It is too. And they'll contest about 5 metres out. Modric kept out of it. Off hands. This is Scholl running it out. Good bump just at the right moment by Ormond Allen. Gets it across to Vardy. Vardy to James. Open goal face. Sets it up. Trying to work his way in front of Modra. Relayed free kick though, is it?
Free after disposal. And the umpire speaking to Scholl.
Modra will get the kick.
And frustration does set in, but you've just got to temper that frustration with discipline. And there's a fair contingent of Crow supporters there down behind Tony Modra's goal, and they're quite delighted to see that free kick.
He had one at half-time. He's going for number 6 right here. And the margin is 52 points. As we mentioned, his best against Geelong. He hasn't kicked many goals against the Cats. 5, round 494 at Footy Park. Point-blank range. Well, umpire goes a long way, but I think it's okay. Yes.
Well, he made an enormous distance. Didn't make it easy for the goal umpire, Dennis. It wasn't a great shot at goal. I made the point about Tony Modra before. I just think it's just slightly favouring one of those legs. He hasn't played a lot. He hasn't played 4 quarters for the first time. He hasn't played a full 4 quarters of football since he's been back. He's had a fairly intensive game today, and I think probably with, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes to go, maybe it is wise to get him off the ground just to, as a precaution against any injury, maybe soft tissue injuries.
What about his confidence? It's absolutely sky high now.
Well, isn't it a good time to leave it?
No, I'd keep him going, Graham. What if he kicks 2 more?
Put him
he walks up thinking he's JC again.
Put him in cotton wool.
What do you mean JC again?
Well, I think we've thought he could fly like anybody and he could do anything, Tony Modra. Ronnie Burns trying to break away. Shrugs the Nigel Smart tackle. Gets the hand pass away. This is Roberts. Left foot kick by Roberts towards full forward. Very well punched away. Gathered here by Raleigh. Snapshot by Raleigh has missed by the look of it. Just off to the left.
Graham, you need a wheat bag full of cotton wool if you were coaching today.
Yeah, just explain that, Curls. Gary Hocking there, I think Gary is probably resting him, and Hamish Simpson, of course, hasn't had a great day on Tony Modra. What do you mean a wheat bag full of cotton wool?
But put all these players in.
Got to make the point of transfer market. If you were dealing in it, those benches would be very expensive, wouldn't they? There's a few big names sitting down there watching this one. As Smart runs around the outer side, kicks inside the 50. Vardy had it knocked away by Corrigan. Arriving quickly was Robran. Down goes Corrigan across the line.
The point is, though, Curls, they've got 2 absolutely critical games coming up. North Melbourne and West Coast in Perth. And this game is well and truly won now. Let's just not take any more chances.
And I can feel rain from the back there somewhere, Dennis, not far away.
Close to the boundary line, Corrigan takes it across. 100 plays 43. Well, it's raining in the hearts of the faithful here at Kardinia Park. Disappointing afternoon again. So what's that now? 5 straight they've lost at Kardinia Park. James, 55 metres out, pulls it back down towards full forward. Modra again, well, almost the mark, but he was being hung on to, and he'll get a free kick.
He's had it paid.
Bounce.
Is it a bounce? Well, it was almost the mark, and I'm sure he was being held on to. Watch it. Well,
I think he thought he was going to get it.
Well, it definitely wasn't a mark, was it?
No, it wasn't a mark. So there's the bounce. Robran taps it down. Edwards smothered off the boot. Scholl gets the hand pass away. Robran puts it out of bounds on the full.
Maxie Rubber, I agree with you. Leave Modra on there, then you get a couple more goals and he'd be cherry ripe next week.
So we'll watch the last 5 minutes with a lot of interest. Bizzle, Stephen King, Derek Hall, just an important little touch there. Rashudo dispossessed, but he went back after it, didn't he? With ferocity, not able to gather.
McLeod's fine, no problem at all.
Well, he's got two
big ice
bags of ice on his right leg. Was it his right leg that was injured?
He ices up after every game, and he's not going back on, so they just iced him up.
They'll go forward again, the Crows. Tyson, his kick into the pocket, knocked away by the Geelong defence over for a throw-in. 57 points is the advantage, and Adelaide already enjoy a nice healthy percentage. This will do it no harm whatsoever.
They've got the best competition. They got the best percentage in the competition. What they were lacking was just 1 or 2 extra games in points. So this actually confirms their spot in the 8 now.
Tyson's had a few good possessions. Goodwin, Robran, Cook. Snapshot by Cook's another goal to Adelaide.
Now, Timmy Cook here from Central Districts. He's been on the Adelaide list for quite a while. That's his 2nd goal. Only his 3rd game for the season. And he's obviously enjoying it. He's kicked 2 goals previously in those games, so I suppose in a game like this where your team is running, Bryant, with not a lot of competition, the forward pocket is not a bad place to be.
So it's a runaway train now. Geelong just clinging on, but look at that scoreline. 16-10, 6-7. So the Cats, as we said, missing players as Hall gives it to Riley, but they could be headed for some rebuilding times. Here's Sanderson, 35 metres out, and he's missed. He should have done better, did the hard stuff, got through okay, and missed to the right.
I must say the study of the away wins this year will be interesting. This is only Adelaide's 2nd win in Melbourne, but they've won well in Sydney and Brisbane, but there's been some consistent away performances this year.
The Eagles have a great record away, better away than at home.
And Sydney as well.
Yeah, Sydney. On the outer side, King, hand passed back into the congestion. Connell to Smart. Smart across the body. It should be a blockbuster next Saturday night at Footy Park. Adelaide against North Melbourne. What a great game that promises to be. On the outer side, Costa. In the opposite direction, it's slapped towards the boundary line by Steinfort. Out it goes.
Yes, it'd be interesting an umpire to give a deliberate out of bounds in that situation. I don't think there was any doubt as to what Carl Steinfort was going to do. He was after the boundary line.
Very keen Crows supporter in the crowd. It's getting cold here at Cardinia Park, and it's been pretty cold all day for Geelong players and their fans. Nigel Smart's been pretty good for most of the day. Tyson and Sanderson. In goes Caven to help out his teammate and forces a throw in.
Well, there was a brief flurry in the 2nd quarter when they were kicking into the breeze that they really stole the momentum from Adelaide and got their noses in front, but from there Adelaide have just worked over the top of them, and the move of Andrew McLeod into the centre of the ground at half-time was absolutely decisive. Adelaide just broke the game open from there.
Sanderson's kicked to half-forward, chopped off by Nigel Smart. In turn, Caven to Ben Hart. Down the ground to James. James with the right, kicks the ball towards left half-forward. Vardy dispossessed there by Minch. Goes back in turn to Scholl, just twisting and turning, trying to get himself into a position where he can kick the ball with effectiveness, and he does, and finds Milburn. Handball away to McKinnon. McKinnon kicks it out of bounds on the full. Well, that is just indicative of Geelong's play over the last few weeks. Forward goes Connell, and the mark is taken by Vardy.
Here's Peter Vardy, nowhere near as dominant as last week, but if he kicks this, it'll be his 4th goal. And if you're playing permanent forward pocket again, if you can kick 4 goals, you've done a tremendous job.
Well, I think you said earlier that he kicked 7 last week and 4 the week before, so 15 from 3.
And 28 for the season, and he's only played, this is only his 12th game, so...
Going for goal number 4. Gee, it's a good kick, isn't it? That goal umpire hasn't even moved.
There's Peter Vardy. He's had a lot of injury problems. He made his debut in 1996, but as a youngster he had a lot of groin injuries, a lot of hamstring injuries. He's managed to shrug them off. He was restricted at the start of the year, but just getting in front, just that quick acceleration. He's got good hands, and his kicking has proved to be very, very reliable. That's his 4th goal of the day, and a pretty important player for Adelaide in the context of this game. Hard to believe that commentators in Adelaide would actually pick Geelong to win this game, isn't it, boys?
Somebody did, didn't they?
Yeah.
How could you do that?
I am an idiot.
Marsh knocks it down.
You live there.
And I live there.
There's nothing worse than an idiot that lives there. Especially when you're that idiot.
How can you lose 5 games in a row on your home ground?
That's Geelong's fault. I'm with you, Gornsey. So here's Rashudo.
Terrific he's been.
He has. Long spiral. Look at the back. Robran. Well, unforgivable, really. Robran runs into an open goal. That sort of ball coming so hard is always a 50-50 chance to go to the back, and the Geelong players really oblivious to all of that.
Well, there were 3 Adelaide players. It was an unusual kick from Rashudo. It was a powerful attempt at a torpedo, and Robran just anticipating it was going to carry, with the breeze particularly. Why wouldn't somebody run to the back of the pack? Only 3 Crows players did. And Matty Robran, who hasn't been sensational, but he's certainly been very effective and a very, very important player for Adelaide. When he's at centre-half forward, they look good.
Well, he's had 16 touches, and that's his 2nd goal. Tyson, who's had a fair bit of the football, to Rashudo. Rashudo's kick to half forward, gathered here by Cook, but there's been a free kick. It looks as though it may be going to Costa. Costa just forward of the wing. You see Mansfield attacked the player when the ball was nowhere near. The mark taken down here by Milburn. He's in the left back pocket. Gets it away to McKinnon. McKinnon down the ground. Smart missed that altogether. Rashudo's caught. Ball comes back to Nigel Smart. Hand pass out wide to Costa. Back to Connell. Connell gives away a little bit of ground to Ben Hart. He's been reliable. Nigel Smart's kick to half forward. The mark is taken here by Scholl. Big margin now. 74 points. Good mark taken by Sanderson. Sanderson into the middle. And it's taken there by Roberts. Roberts quickly on to Wood. Just looks a little too predictable, though, when Geelong go forward. Colbert gets rid of Allen. Back onto the ball. His kick is out on the full. So just finishing with nothing whatsoever, the Cats. A miserable scoreline. 6 goals 8 to 18 goals 10. 18-12, is it?
18-10, I think.
Yep.
The largest winning margin for the Crows over Geelong has been 91 points. That, of course, was at Football Park. But the 74-point margin, as it is at the moment, is their 2nd highest winning margin. And here at Kardinia Park, that's quite unbelievable.
Kick forward. It's marked by Caven with seconds left.
Caven. Forward of half-back. Kicks inside the centre square. Vardy. Been very good with 3 second-half goals. Across to James on the siren. And they make some history. For the Adelaide Crows, they win their first game at Kardinia Park, and they win in most convincing style by 74 points. A runaway at the end, led by Tony Modra with 6 goals, 5 in the second half, and Peter Vardy with 4, 3 of them in the second half. They had 4 goals to half-time and still led by 9 points. But after half-time, it's simply been a rout. An old pro, and that's good to see always. Mike Rashudo would be delighted with his afternoon, but it's commonplace for him to pick up 30 possessions. He's done it again today, right on the knocker. Vardy, who missed the finals last year, he'd be hungry. 12 12 wins now for the Adelaide Crows. 2 weeks to go. A lot, one senses, to look forward to. The official attendance today, 22,384.
Well, they're happy. They're not overly jubilant, but they realise the job's pretty much, well, I speak too soon. Andrew McLeod looked pretty happy with Kim Costa there. And they're trotting over to the large contingent of Crow supporters who booked out all the motels in Geelong.
Graham have got Mark Rashid on the ground. Well, Mark, a bit untidy early, but came home with a strong wet sail.
Yeah, we knew they'd be tired early. They're hard to beat down here. In fact, we'd never beaten them here before today, so the plan was to get on top of them early, and we knew they couldn't make the final, so we thought that if we got on top of them, we might be able to roll them like we did.
Good move at the start of the third quarter. Wren, yourself and McLeod in the centre square. That tore the game apart.
I mean, we keep McLeod up our sleeve for most of the year, playing up back or up forward. And I tell you, when he comes on the ball in the middle, he's hard to stop. And with Rennie giving us first use of the ball, we really got the dominance in the centre square, and we got a few goals.
Great win for the club. Enjoy yourself. Back to you, Dennis.
Thanks, girls. So off they come for the first time in 7 attempts, triumphant here at Kardinia Park.
Well, Hooters are made to be broken, aren't they? Darren Jarman there in the tracksuit didn't have a lot of work to do today. Malcolm Blight elected to take him off the ground when he wasn't active enough. That can only mean a bit more ominous signs for teams that are about to play.
Checking that final scoreline, it was the Adelaide Crows 18-10 over Geelong 6-8.
Mitsubishi Pajero, perfectly adapted to Australian conditions.
Here's a family who wants to enhance their outdoor living area and add value to their home with a new deck and garden. And here's the Mitre 10 specialist.
40-tooth blade, the more teeth on the blade, the finer the cut. So the tooth is...
From the store that understands it's not just the low price, it's getting the right advice that really saves you money.
Oh. What's here? The Mitre 10 truck.
Starting all over again. It's the best of Hall & Oates. All the songs that made Hall & Oates one of the biggest selling duos in history. Hit after hit on this specially priced double CD. You gotta get Starting All Over Again, the best of Hall & Oates, out now.
Take it easy, guys. It's not a race. Yeah, okay, that sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'd like to race. Yeah, I'd put my kilometres in the car. 80 kilometres a week? Yeah, let's just go really slow. Why do I run?
The lights are going out. The lights are going out at Crazy Dave's $1 Million Warehouse Sale. Yes, Adelaide's biggest lighting importer and wholesaler is quitting his entire stock of quality lighting at even less than his normally low discount prices. Over 5,000 light fittings, local and imported, in all Crazy Dave stores. Crazy? You bet. But every light is going out below, way below the normal ticketed prices. Crazy Dave's $1 Million Warehouse Sale. On now, open 7 days, all stores. If you miss it, you're crazy.
Taken everything.
From the pen of Linda LaPlante comes a blockbuster mini-series event.
I want the killers of my babies as badly as you want the killers of your sons.
The story of power, passion, and the taste of sweet revenge.
We must hate.
No one is ever gonna frighten us again!
Vanessa Redgrave, Nastasia Kinski, Jennifer Tilly and Dennis Farina.
We're asking you to be head of the family.
Panasonic presents the premiere of Bella Mafia, Sunday 8:30 on 7.
Singing along there, he knows that one pretty well, one of his favourite tunes. 18-10 to 6-8, so the final margin impressive at 74 points. Tony Modra putting 6 goals, 5 in the second half. Peter Vardy got 4, 3 of them in the second half. Only 4 goals to half-time, and after that it was a runaway victory by the Crows. Challenged in the second term, Geelong going into the breeze played their best football, but really it was a one-horse race in the second half. As we take a look at these numbers, Graham.
Adelaide just dominant. There was that period in the second quarter where Geelong really came at them into the breeze, but Adelaide never looked like losing after half-time, and the significant move there was Andrew McLeod into the centre, but clearly dominant in all areas. The centre breaks 15 to 13, inside 50, 61 to 44. Free kicks, strangely enough, the Geelong crowd would not have agreed with that. 21 to Geelong, only 18 to Adelaide, but Adelaide dominant, particularly as the game ran out.
Some big games to come. They've got North Melbourne next Saturday night, followed the following Saturday night by the West Coast Eagles, and then into the final. So a perfect tune-up today.
Well, an important game because it actually now consolidates their spot in the 8. If they can win the next 2, maybe a spot in the 4, but neither of those games are certainties. The game against North Melbourne at Footy Park next week is going to be sensational. And they'll have their eyes set, obviously, on a top 4 finish, because from there, a grand final berth is much easier.
Checking around the league then at the MCG this afternoon, it was Essendon and Collingwood. Replays are scheduled. If you don't want to know the score, look away now. Cords is lamenting. We'll be back in just a moment. Tipster's nightmare.
Give me the game, my love.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season, proudly brought to you by Mutual Community, Mitre 10, Sip and Save, Ultratune, and The Advertiser.
This 7 News Update is brought to you by Colonial.
Good afternoon. Dramatic pictures of an arson attack in upmarket Walkerville. A home undergoing major renovations went up in smoke, leaving a damage bill of $150,000. The full story at 6. Also, Christopher Skase granted citizenship of the Commonwealth of Dominica in the Caribbean, and outrage over a ghoulish tour retracing the final moments of Princess Diana's life.
Nobody knows news like 7.
The new Mitsubishi Pajero, perfectly adapted to Australian conditions.
The good times are about to go wild with Swoop, Groove Terminator, and Kate Sobrano. As SAFM gives you the chance to be the first to experience Australia's hottest new drink sensation. Be there at the party to end all parties. Heaven 2, August 21. Tickets on sale at Bass, Venue Tix and CC Music for $17. Plus your booking fee also includes your first killer taste experience. Can you afford to miss this one? Here's 4 great rail escapes from Australian Rail Travel Centre. Each holiday includes rail travel, 3 nights accommodation, sightseeing and a return flight with Ansett. 6 days all-inclusive to Perth from only $890. Melbourne on the Overland from $455, Sydney on the Indian Pacific from $720, or Alice Springs on the legendary Ghan from only $690. Remember, all holidays include rail and air travel, accommodation and touring. Book now at Australian Rail Travel Centre, phone 8231 4366. Heartbeat. You've loved the series, now relive the magic with the 4-CD Heartbeat collection. 75 classic songs of the 60s by the original artists, as heard on the top-rating TV series Heartbeat, can be yours for just $57.95, no more to pay. Phone now to take advantage of this exclusive offer. Make sure you don't miss out on your special 4-CD box set of hit songs from Heartbeat, just $57.95. Phone 1-800-151-777 and order now.
Get ready, folks. It's time again for the RAA Bay to Birdwood Run, the biggest one-day historic motoring event in the world. Sunday, September 27, head down to West Beach for the biggest lineup of starters yet, with up to 2,000 vintage vehicles ready to make their way to beautiful Birdwood. There'll be plenty of fun for the whole family, or simply choose your favourite posse and watch this spectacular cavalcade from the roadside. The RAA Bay to Birdwood Run, Sunday, September 27, proudly supported by Adelaide's Channel 7.
He's one of the greatest songwriters in music history. Now, Bob Dylan returns to Australia, performing the songs that changed the face of music, including this year's Grammy Award-winning Album of the Year, Time Out of Mind. Bob Dylan live with special guest Patti Smith, Adelaide Entertainment Centre, Monday, August 24. Tickets on sale now. The 1998 AFL Premiership season brought to you by Telstra. Making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year. McDonald's Double Quarter Pounder with Cheese. And Mitsubishi Motors, the award-winning Magna.
Good afternoon, and our Saturday of football continues here on 7 with a game from Waverley between the Western Bulldogs and Sydney, so it's a home ground to neither. Let's pick it up at the opening bouts in the commentary box. Drew Morford, Terry Wheeler and Peter McKenna.
Umpire Andrew Coates to start the game at Waverley, and what a game this should be.